Introduction, open quote. The chains of habit are too light to be felt until they are too heavy to be broken. Warren Buffett, close quote. The new age of addictive pleasure. In the old days, life was way more chill. People weren't constantly swamped with info and stuff like we are today. This quiet allowed them to really dig into things and focus properly. Without all the disruptions, they could actually think things through. That level of focus is super rare now. It helped them get a better handle on themselves and the world, leading to clearer ideas. It's a massive difference from now, where we're always getting pulled every which way by external noise, making it tough to concentrate or think deeply. But something has changed in the way we live today. We now find silence uncomfortable, and being alone feels rare. Our screens light up before we've even thought. Notifications interrupt our moments, making us feel like we're losing control. These devices we created to help us now grab our attention. They subtly shape what we want and how we think. We've become so dependent without even realizing it. The core of this problem is not the technology itself, but what it does to the mind. Modern digital systems exploit a fundamental aspect of our brain's wiring, dopamine. A chemical originally meant to drive survival, focus, and growth has become a tool for manipulation. And nowhere is this manipulation more destructive than in the realm of PMO, pornography, masturbation, and orgasm addiction. This addiction is subtle. It wears no obvious scars. It hides behind closed doors, beneath private screens. But it slowly erodes something essential: mental strength, inner clarity, masculine vitality, and self-respect. Most young men who fall into this cycle believe it's just a bad habit, a phase, perhaps, something that will fix itself over time. But neuroscience, spiritual tradition, and personal experience all tell us otherwise. PMO addiction rewires the brain. It reshapes desire. It weakens willpower. It floods the mind with unnatural stimuli and depletes one's deepest energy. And yet, this book is not about fear. It's not about guilt. It's about awakening. A body of timeless wisdom exists that modern science is only beginning to understand. Ancient seers, monks, and yogis practiced something called brahmacharya, not merely abstaining from sexual pleasure, but learning to conserve and redirect energy. They discovered that when sexual energy is mastered, it becomes a force of intelligence, creativity, strength, and spiritual illumination. In the digital age, brahmacharya is no longer just a spiritual practice. It is a necessary neurobiological reset. This book is about reclaiming your mind in an era that profits from its fragmentation. It is about understanding how dopamine works, how it can be misused, and how you can train it to serve your higher goals rather than your lower cravings. It's about healing the overstimulated brain and returning to a state of grounded discipline. You will learn how to break free from the compulsive PMO cycle using both neuroscience and ancient techniques. Reset your brain's reward system through digital fasting and structured protocols. Understand the nature of temptation and how to master it rather than suppress it. Build a lifestyle rooted in focus, restraint, and purpose. Use your sexual energy not destructively, but creatively and spiritually. Create a new internal identity, one not driven by addiction, but by self-awareness and mastery. This is not a quick fix solution. It is not another dopamine detox trend. It is a reorientation of your inner life, a return to control, to energy, and depth. You may have tried before. You may have failed. That's all right. This time, we will approach it with clarity, structure, and patience. You will be guided not only by strategies, but by understanding. This book will walk beside you like a mentor, not to punish you for your distractions, but to lead you beyond them. The journey will be demanding, but the reward is priceless. A mind that is calm and clear, a body that is strong and energized, a spirit that is no longer enslaved, but free. Let us begin the path of the dopamine discipline, not with fear, but with courage. Not with shame, but with awareness. Not with repression, but with sacred self-mastery. Chapter 1. The dopamine hijack, the brain under siege. Open quote. That which is used develops. That which is not used wastes away. Hippocrates. Close quote. Open quote. The senses are superior to the body. The mind is superior to the senses. The intellect is superior to the mind. But beyond the intellect is the self. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, verse 42, close quote. In the early morning hours, before your conscious mind fully wakes up, a subtle and compulsive ritual begins. Your eyes barely open, yet your fingers instinctively reach out to your bedside, grasping your smartphone. Notifications blink, likes flood your screen, unread messages demand your attention, and somewhere deep inside, a quiet part of you whispers that this isn't quite normal. Yet the pull is irresistible. This experience, so common today, reveals a fundamental truth. Our brains were never designed for a world of endless digital stimulation. Each notification, video, or social media update triggers a powerful chemical inside our brain called dopamine. This chemical, once vital to our survival, now lies at the core of an insidious cycle of addiction, distraction, and emotional numbness. The evolutionary role of dopamine. In simpler times, dopamine was essential. It acted as a motivator, our inner drive. It pushed our ancestors to hunt, gather food, form tribes, and find mates. Dopamine did not merely reward pleasure, it rewarded effort and meaningful achievements. However, today's environment has drastically altered this natural reward pathway. Pleasure has become effortless. With a swipe, a click, or a scroll, we trigger dopamine hits far stronger and far more frequent than nature ever intended poets. This has profound implications, changing the very way our brains function. Your brain on PMO, neuroscience of addiction. Among all the digital stimuli available today, one stands out as particularly potent and dangerous: pornography, masturbation, and orgasm, collectively known as PMO. What makes PMO uniquely addictive is not merely its sexual nature, but its unmatched ability to hijack and overload the brain's dopamine circuits. Studies show that the dopamine spike from pornography and orgasm is extraordinarily high, comparable and often superior to powerful narcotics like cocaine cis. Unlike traditional drugs, porn offers endless novelty. Every click or tab brings a new scenario, a new partner, a new fantasy. Your primitive brain, incapable of distinguishing digital imagery from reality, interprets these countless images as genuine mating opportunities, flooding your nervous system with dopamine sen. This phenomenon of endless novelty and rapid-fire dopamine hits is known as supernormal stimulation far exceeding what our natural reward system can sustainably handle. How dopamine receptors become numb. The human brain, ever adaptable, quickly senses this unnatural overstimulation. In response, it begins a protective yet destructive process known as dopamine receptor downregulation. Think of your dopamine receptors like sensitive microphones. In a quiet room, these microphones pick up even the smallest sounds clearly. But what happens if they're constantly blasted with loud noise? They adjust. They reduce their sensitivity, lower the volume, and eventually shut down to protect themselves. Similarly, your brain reduces dopamine receptor sensitivity, making normal life activities, reading, socializing, exercising, even simply being present in the moment, less pleasurable, less satisfying. This numbing of dopamine receptors results in a bleak emotional landscape known as anhedonia, the diminished ability to experience pleasure from normal, everyday activities. Life starts feeling gray, tasks become burdensome, relationships lose appeal. And tragically, the brain demands even more extreme stimuli to break through this numbing effect, spiraling you deeper into addictive behaviors. Why PMO hits harder than drugs? While chemical drugs provide a single powerful dopamine spike, digital pornography and PMO addiction deliver something even more potent: unlimited novelty and repetition. Each new image, each new video, each new scenario releases fresh surges of dopamine. This continual triggering of the brain's reward circuitry surpasses even the addictive potential of traditional narcotics. In fact, studies comparing the brains of porn addicts and drug addicts have shown remarkably similar neural patterns. Both experience reduced gray matter, weakened frontal lobes responsible for self-control, and increased impulsivity. But unlike drug addicts who eventually hit financial, physical, or legal boundaries, PMO addicts face fewer immediate external consequences, making their addiction often unnoticed, silent, and dangerously insidious. A wide body of research confirms what ancient wisdom has always warned: excessive sexual indulgence, whether through masturbation, pornography, or sexual addiction, leaves deep imprints on the body, brain, and soul. In the MAR-HCS study 21, researchers found that pornography consumption among young men in China was associated with addiction symptoms, altered hormone levels, and lower semen quality. Dr. Michael Flood's work, Child Abuse Review 2009, highlighted how early exposure to porn leads to emotional disturbance, objectification, and even increased aggression among boys. And in the porn pandemic, Andrew Farabee offers a deeply personal and clinical insight into how digital sexual habits drain emotional strength, destroy self-confidence, and fracture real-life relationships. These are not abstract warnings. They are real-life consequences backed by science, testimony, and truth. Let's examine each one. Adverse effects of watching pornography. Porn rewires the brain's reward system, creating unnatural cravings and desensitizing the user to real-world love, touch, and affection. As usage increases, individuals need more extreme content to feel aroused, leading to risky, unhealthy, and morally conflicting behavior patterns. Over time, many users experience erectile dysfunction, low libido, and emotional disconnect with real partners, despite being physically healthy. Young minds exposed to porn early often develop toxic beliefs about women and relationships, seeing others as objects instead of human beings. There's research suggesting a link between watching porn a lot and guys, especially teens, becoming more okay with sexual coercion. Emotionally, porn creates a fantasy reality split. Relationships feel dull, people seem boring, and excitement becomes limited to screens. It gradually leads to social withdrawal, poor sleep, mood swings, and even symptoms of depression or anxiety. Spiritual traditions have long warned that visual lust pollutes the mind. Neuroscience now confirms this. Overstimulation shrinks the prefrontal cortex, reducing willpower and long-term decision-making ability. Porn doesn't just distort your view of sex, it distorts your entire view of women, love, masculinity, and meaning. fMRI scans show gray matter reduction in the prefrontal cortex among chronic porn users. This weakens impulse control. Kuhn and Gallinat, 2014. Dopamine overstimulation from porn is like a drug, triggering delta phos-B, a molecular marker of addiction, Harvard Med School, 2011. Porn activates the Coolidge effect, making the brain seek novelty over depth, which undermines loyalty and emotional intimacy. Use is correlated with higher divorce rates and lower relationship satisfaction, especially among men in long-term partnerships, Journal of Sex Research. Even casual users develop reduced empathy, difficulty in eye contact, and lower emotional regulation. Long-term viewing often shifts arousal patterns toward fetishization, voyeurism, or aggressive themes, creating moral and mental dissonance. It increases sleep dysfunction, as artificial dopamine bursts delay melatonin cycles, leading to insomnia and fatigue. Studies show young men consuming high porn report lower academic performance, less motivation, and diminished purpose. Adverse effects of masturbation. Repeated masturbation, especially when combined with porn, leads to a reduction in testosterone and poorer sperm quality, weakening not only fertility but also energy, confidence, and masculine drive. It causes dopamine overload and burnout, dulling your brain's ability to enjoy natural rewards like achievements, nature, or personal connection. Mental clarity takes a hit. Many users report brain fog, procrastination, and loss of deep focus after frequent masturbation. It creates a habit of escapism, where one begins to seek pleasure instead of solving problems, gradually replacing courage with comfort. Over time, this behavior may lead to low self-esteem, inner guilt, and the painful thought that you're not in control of yourself. Relationally, excessive self-gratification makes it harder to form deep emotional bonds as the brain gets wired for solitary satisfaction rather than mutual intimacy. This habit drains ojas, or inner vitality, as emphasized in yogic and Ayurvedic traditions, resulting in a loss of drive, glow, and willpower. Long-term, it fosters a pattern of surrender to pleasure, rather than the cultivation of strength, character, and true inner peace. It disrupts the hypothalamic pituitary gonadal axis, affecting communication between the brain and testicles, Journal of Endocrinology. Frequent masturbation leads to chronic pelvic fatigue and muscle tension, reducing energy levels and sexual confidence. Neuropathways of escapism develop from habitual release, leading individuals to seek comfort when faced with stress, boredom, or fear. Prolonged indulgence trains the nervous system to associate pleasure with isolation, weakening your natural desire to engage socially. It may delay emotional maturity, suppressing masculine edge, ambition, and resilience, traits essential for purposeful manhood. Reports from NoFap and recovery communities show men who abstain experience stronger posture, assertiveness, and voice tone, hinting at real physiological restoration. Adverse effects of sexual addiction. Sex addiction means obsessively chasing sexual pleasure, often escalating so much that it messes with your daily life, mood, and what you really care about. Addicted individuals feel a constant pull to seek arousal through various means: porn, chats, hookups, or fantasy, creating a cycle of craving, indulgence, and guilt. It often coexists with other mental health issues such as depression, anxiety, low self-worth, and emotional instability. The addict may experience a loss of control, with strong urges overpowering rational decision-making and personal values. As the addiction progresses, people become emotionally numb, unable to experience joy without stimulation, and often feel trapped in a loop they can't escape. It creates a double life, outwardly normal, but internally burdened with shame, secrecy, and fear of being discovered. Relationships suffer immensely. Sexual addiction leads to broken trust, superficial intimacy, and often emotional or physical infidelity. Over time, it rewires the brain's structure similarly to substance addiction, reinforcing the behavior with powerful neural loops that make quitting feel nearly impossible without intervention. Youth trapped in sexual addiction often experience reduced academic focus, lowered ambition, and spiritual emptiness, trading vision for short-term release. Sexual addiction is now officially recognized by WHO, ICD-11, as compulsive sexual behavior disorder, requiring structured treatment. Research shows it's often rooted in early childhood neglect, trauma, or early exposure to sexual stimuli, APA 2019. Addicts may suffer from anhedonia, a state where nothing feels good unless it's sexual. Joy becomes one-dimensional. Impulse control is reduced, especially under emotional stress, causing repeated self-sabotaging behavior. High rates of comorbidity with substance abuse, ADHD, and mood disorders are common, indicating deeper neurochemical imbalances. In extreme cases, addiction leads to legal consequences, loss of reputation, and isolation from family or community. Healing involves reprogramming reward systems, building spiritual muscle, and learning how to pursue passion with purity. Open quote, "Discipline isn't about suppression, it's about direction. Sexual energy is sacred fuel. Don't waste it, transform it." Close quote. Now that you're aware of what's at stake, you have the choice to rise. Every step away from indulgence is a step toward invincibility. Your greatest version awaits, not after one video, not after one release, but after you choose to reclaim your focus, your clarity, your fire. Case study: From rock bottom to resilience. Background: a life in deep crisis. Vardman, a young man from Prayagraj, Uttar Pradesh, once found himself trapped in a dark and self-destructive lifestyle that many would consider unimaginable. Just a few years ago, his daily reality involved 16 to 20 instances of masturbation. This compulsive behavior wasn't just a bad habit, it was a full-blown addiction that landed him in the hospital multiple times. With a digital vault of over 2 gigabytes of pornography, his life had spiraled into an abyss of weakness, shame, and hopelessness. He knew he was stuck in a vicious cycle, but didn't know how to break free. Everything changed when Vardman came in contact with Mindfulness platform. Through step-by-step guidance, wisdom, teachings, and powerful video sessions, Vardman experienced a mental awakening. The illusion and ignorance that clouded his life began to fade. With unwavering focus, Vardman started watching every session of Manthan Hub attentively. The more he listened, the more he began to understand himself and the damage he was causing to his mind and body. The journey of transformation. What followed was not magic, but a series of disciplined actions, spiritual devotion, and inner resolve. Inspired by his spiritual path and the teachings of Samarth Ramdas Ji, Vardman committed himself to the practice of brahmacharya, celibacy, and self-control. Despite the extreme nature of his past addiction, he did not turn to medications or temporary hacks. Instead, he rebuilt himself through mental rewiring, spiritual strength, and daily self-discipline. Today, Vardman proudly shares that he has been living a pure brahmacharya lifestyle for 5 years. We don't even realize how much power lies dormant within us. Once we recognize the strength of our body and soul, we become unstoppable. Vardman's story proves that true transformation is possible, even from the darkest corners of human behavior. His life serves as a beacon of hope for thousands of young men suffering silently from addiction, guilt, and loss of purpose. The upcoming chapter will delve into Vardhaman's transformation was only because of brain rewire. Understanding the concept of positive brain rewire in detail will make this shift easier to comprehend. The real consequence: losing your inner power. As dopamine receptors dull, something deeper occurs. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for decision making, self control, goal setting, and impulse inhibition, begins to weaken and shrink. At the same time, your brain's limbic system, the emotional center associated with cravings, fear, and immediate gratification, becomes hyperactive. You're left in a state of perpetual internal conflict. You understand logically that this addiction is harmful, yet emotionally and neurologically, you feel powerless to stop. Over time, you lose trust in yourself, confidence diminishes, and your identity shifts. No longer the master of your mind, but a passive observer driven by impulses you cannot control. Taking back your brain. This neurobiological understanding of dopamine and PMO addiction is not meant to dishearten you. Instead, let it empower you. The first step to overcoming this dopamine hijack is understanding exactly how it works and why it is so effective. Your brain is not permanently damaged. It is temporarily rewired. Neuroplasticity, the brain's incredible ability to adapt and change, means you can reverse this hijacking facade. With proper techniques, discipline, and structured intervention, your dopamine system can heal, your receptors can regain sensitivity, and your prefrontal cortex can regain control. As you proceed through this book, you will discover practical and proven methods drawn from modern neuroscience and ancient spiritual traditions like brahmacharya and modern technique like brain rewire to repair and reclaim your brain. You'll learn to transform your dopamine system back into its intended role, not as your hijacker, but as your ally. You have the power to regain control of your life, your energy, and your purpose. This journey begins by recognizing the war you're in, a war that began quietly but ends in freedom. And the first step in any victory is awareness. Chapter 2, The Forgotten Power of Mental Celibacy. Open quote, self-control is strength. Right thought is mastery. Calmness is power. James Allen, As a Man Thinketh, close quote. Open quote. By the establishment of continence, energy is gained. The chaste brain has tremendous energy and gigantic willpower. Without chastity, there can be no spiritual strength. Continence gives wonderful control over mankind. Swami Vivekananda, close quote. When people hear brahmacharya, they often think of ancient sages and forest hermitages. It seems like a strict, outdated practice. Many see it as irrelevant in today's fast-paced, connected world. But beneath its ancient origins lies a forgotten power, a wisdom more vital today than ever before, the conscious conservation of mental and sexual energy. In its truest essence, brahmacharya means walking in the path of the divine, or aligning one's life with a higher truth, swear. While traditionally it emphasized celibacy as a spiritual discipline, the deeper meaning goes far beyond physical abstinence. It's about mastering the senses, purifying the mind, and channeling your life energy, your prana, towards a greater purpose. Brahmacharya, a multifaceted perspective. Brahmacharya isn't just about being celibate. It's a way of life focused on self-control and managing your energy wisely. It comes from ancient spiritual practices and suggests we should direct our desires thoughtfully to find inner peace and awareness. This means using our physical, mental, and emotional energy for meaningful goals instead of wasting it on temporary pleasures. It's not just about avoiding sex, but about controlling all our senses and passions. Practicing brahmacharya can lead to better focus, clear thinking, and spiritual development, helping us live a purposeful and fulfilling life. It helps us develop self-discipline, break bad habits, and connect more deeply with ourselves and the world around us. It involves making smart choices about what we eat, how we live, and what we think, aiming for balance in everything. Ultimately, it's about using our life force, that creative, vital energy, for good, leading to personal growth and enlightenment. Brahmacharya, often translated as celibacy, extends far beyond mere abstinence from sexual activity. It is, at its core, a disciplined approach to managing and directing one's vital life force, known in some traditions as ojas. Historically, this practice was considered fundamental, not merely beneficial, for those seeking profound spiritual development. The ancient wisdom of gurus across various cultures emphasized brahmacharya as a critical method for the conservation of energy, which, instead of being dissipated through physical and mental distractions, could be redirected towards higher intellectual, creative, and spiritual endeavors. Practices like deep meditation, rigorous study, and introspective self realization were believed to be significantly enhanced by the energy preserved through this discipline. The belief system underlying brahmacharya suggests that sexual energy, when not randomly expended, transforms into a potent force that can elevate one's overall vitality, sharpen the intellect, and foster a deep sense of spiritual power. This transformation is thought to lead to a state of holistic well-being, where the individual experiences heightened mental clarity, increased physical stamina, and a more profound connection to the divine or the inner self. In essence, brahmacharya is an ancient strategy for self-mastery, aimed at harnessing the body's inherent energy for achieving extraordinary levels of personal growth and enlightenment. Modern gurus and contemporary interpretation. Modern gurus often reinterpret brahmacharya to be less about strict celibacy and more about the conscious management of desires and energy. They emphasize the importance of self-control, moderation, and mindful living in all aspects of life. In this context, brahmacharya can be practiced even within a committed relationship, focusing on cultivating respect, mutual understanding, and emotional connection. Modern interpretations may also highlight the energetic and psychological aspects, emphasizing the importance of channeling energy towards creativity, productivity, and personal growth. Modern perspective and scientific understanding. From a modern perspective, the concept of brahmacharya can be analyzed through the lens of psychology, neuroscience, and health science. The controlled management of impulses, including sexual desires, can lead to improved focus, cognitive function, and emotional regulation. Research suggests that delaying gratification and practicing self-control can have positive effects on mental well-being and overall life satisfaction. Moreover, a balanced approach to sexuality and relationships can contribute to healthier emotional and social development. Integrating ancient wisdom with modern insights. Brahmacharya, viewed through both historical and present-day perspectives, presents a complex practice. Traditionally, it's seen as complete abstinence. However, modern interpretations lean towards the mindful control of one's energy and a balanced lifestyle. By combining ancient principles with modern understanding, individuals can foster self-control, improve their overall health, and advance their personal and spiritual development. Some spiritual leaders and medical professionals strongly advocate for strict celibacy, even within marriage, citing its benefits for physical, mental, and spiritual well-being. Contemporary views often suggest practicing brahmacharya to conserve vital energy, reserving it solely for reproduction. A modern epidemic, dopamine overdrive. Basically, the big problem we're facing right now is this. Our modern minds are constantly under attack. Pornography, social media, and on-demand digital content flood the brain with cheap dopamine. These stimuli are the new indulgences, more accessible, addictive, and dangerous than ever before. Ironically, the same sensory chaos our ancestors tried to overcome through brahmacharya is now back, only in a more deceptive and high-tech form, i.e., mental celibacy. What is mental celibacy? Staying mentally celibate means you've got to put in the work to keep your mind away from sexual thoughts and anything that could trigger them, especially online. It's about catching those thoughts when they pop up and redirecting them, being picky about what you watch and read, and seriously limiting your exposure to stuff that makes things harder. What you're trying to do is create an environment in your head that supports your goal of celibacy by managing both what's going on inside you and what's coming at you from the outside. On the outside. Ultimately, it's about getting to a place where your mind is clear, you're focused, and you're fully committed to your intention. Every time your mind fixates on erotic imagery, fantasy, or titillating media, it loses clarity. This constant engagement pollutes your consciousness, fragments your attention, and weakens your will. According to yogic science, for Asmetis, this mental drain depletes ojas, the subtle energy that fuels immunity, vitality, focus, and resilience. Modern neuroscience supports this ancient view. Studies show that regular exposure to explicit content overstimulates the brain's limbic system, particularly the amygdala and reward circuits, leading to poor emotional regulation and impaired thinking. Sursat. Practicing brahmacharya today is about cleansing the mind, protecting its purity, and regaining control over your inner world. Tack, why mental celibacy is a superpower. Research shows that compulsive PMO, porn, masturbation, orgasm, habits deplete the brain's ability to function optimally. They reduce mental sharpness, lower physical stamina, disturb emotional balance, and disconnect us from our life's deeper purpose. But when this energy is preserved and redirected, amazing things happen. You get sharper intelligence, a stronger body, emotional strength, and a magnetic presence. Ancient yogis thought that keeping sexual energy in check could be beneficial. They believed it would flow up the spine, feeding the brain. This would improve intuition and spiritual awareness. Today, science backs this up. Research shows that controlling sexual energy can make our brains more flexible. It can also increase focus and memory. Transmuting lust into purpose. Brahmacharya doesn't mean repression, it means transformation. Instead of denying the sexual urge, it teaches how to channel it into creativity, discipline, and purpose. Napoleon Hill famously called this sexual transmutation in Think and Grow Rich. He noted that nearly all great achievers had a strong sex drive, but they didn't waste it. They redirected it into their mission. Science backs this idea. Redirecting dopamine surges into meaningful goals enhances productivity, increases emotional intelligence, and builds long-term success. When you practice mental celibacy, your mind rests, recovers, and reconnects with real joy. You feel more present, you think clearly, you connect more deeply with yourself and with others. A practical guide to modern brahmacharya. How does one practice brahmacharya in an age of excessive stimulation? Here are some essential principles, and later chapters will provide practical guidance. 1. Build awareness. Recognize that digital stimuli, especially explicit content, hijack your attention and rewire your brain for compulsive pleasure. 2. Practice digital fasting schedule breaks from screens. A daily or weekly digital detox helps reset your dopamine receptors and rebuild focus. 3. Engage in energy practices. Meditation, pranayama, especially Bhastrika, and visualization help redirect sexual energy and strengthen mental control. These practices calm the amygdala, balance emotions, and improve prefrontal cortex function. Breaking the myths. Many resist brahmacharya, thinking it's unnatural or suppressive. But true brahmacharya is not about repression, it's about conscious mastery. Modern psychology warns that suppressing sexual urges without awareness can cause mental stress. But acknowledging desires without acting on them and redirecting them mindfully builds emotional strength and spiritual depth. It's not about guilt or shame, it's about freedom. The freedom to choose where your mind goes and what you give your energy to. Inner mastery is real freedom. Brahmacharya isn't about avoiding pleasure. It's about finding lasting joy. This joy isn't fleeting or compulsive. It's about owning your life force and living with clarity, purpose, and inner power. As digital distraction becomes our new addiction, Brahmacharya offers a way to break free. It's not about escaping life, but embracing it fully with mastery. The next chapter will show how screens are changing our brains. We'll learn how to reclaim our focus and find peace. Chapter 3, Your Brain on Screens, the Neuroscience of Overstimulation. Open quote, when the mind is constantly stimulated, it loses its ability to reflect. Silence, not noise, is the true companion of wisdom. Sri Aurobindo, close quote. Open quote, mind alone is the cause of bondage and liberation. When attached to sense objects, it leads to bondage. When detached, it leads to freedom. Amrita Bindu Upanishad, verse 2, close quote. There was a time, not too long ago in human history, when life moved in rhythm with the rising and setting sun. Days were guided by nature's flow, not artificial alerts. People spent hours in deep thought, undisturbed by digital noise. Attention was natural. Silence wasn't scary. and the mind had space to rest, recover, and reflect. But today, our reality has flipped. In a single day, the modern brain processes more information than what ancient humans might have encountered in an entire lifetime, quarters later. From the moment we wake, we're bombarded by glowing screens, phones, laptops, TVs, tablets, notifications, reels, messages, videos, an endless stream of noise. And this constant stimulation is doing far more damage than we think. The screen-brain disconnect. The brain's greatest gift is neuroplasticity, its incredible ability to adapt, learn, and evolve. But in the digital age, this gift has become a weakness. Instead of adapting to nature, our brains are adapting to overstimulation. Instead of deep focus, we're learning distraction. Instead of calm, we're training anxiety. Calm. Here's how. Every flickering reel, every clickbait video, every swipe floods your brain with dopamine, a pleasure chemical meant to reward meaningful achievements, not mindless scrolling fuss. But now, dopamine is cheap. It's triggered by pixels, not purpose. The brain becomes addicted, not to porn, not to phones, but to the dopamine hit they deliver. Structural damage. What screens do to your brain? Science now shows that long-term screen exposure causes physical changes in the brain. Gray matter is vital for memory, decision-making, and emotional control. It starts to shrink in areas like the prefrontal cortex and hippocampus. The limbic system, including the amygdala, the brain's fear center, becomes too active. This makes you feel anxious, impulsive, and emotionally unstable. In simple terms, your brain starts functioning more like a scared animal and less like a wise human. The collapse of attention. Decades ago, people could sit for hours reading, praying, painting, or just reflecting. Now, sitting quietly for 10 minutes feels unbearable. We've trained our brains to expect novelty every second. A new notification, a funny clip, a shocking reel sim. Attention is no longer a skill, it's a lost art. Each time you're interrupted by a message or pop-up, your brain releases dopamine. Over time, you become addicted to distraction itself. Deep work, real thinking, and creative flow become rare and exhausting. This isn't a discipline problem. It's a rewiring problem, paraslit. Anxiety, the emotional cost of screens. Screen addiction doesn't just make you distracted, it makes you afraid. Why? Because when your amygdala is overstimulated, it starts interpreting even small triggers as threats say. You feel anxious, but you don't know why. You feel restless, but you're not sure what's missing. This is the mind's silent scream for space. Social media amplifies this further. Comparison, doom scrolling, fake perfection. And the result? A constant undercurrent of stress, insecurity, and emotional exhaustion. Screens versus sleep, a hidden battle. Our brain needs one vital activity to heal: sleep. But screens rob us of it. The blue light emitted by screens suppresses melatonin, the sleep hormone. Late night scrolling throws your internal clock, your circadian rhythm, out of sync. You struggle to fall asleep. Even if you do, the quality of your sleep suffers. Sleep deprivation isn't just about feeling tired. It shrinks brain regions, impairs memory, and makes emotional regulation almost impossible. Why teens are at greater risk. While screen addiction hurts all of us, it is devastating for young people. Adolescence is a critical period for brain development, but high screen use at this stage interferes with the maturation of neural circuits. The result? Poor impulse control, emotional instability, lower academic performance, reduced creativity. Children raised on screens are not just losing time, they're losing brain function. Reclaiming the brain. It's not too late. Here's the good news. Just as the brain learned distraction, it can unlearn it. Neuroscience proves that reducing screen time and increasing mindful activities can rebuild neural connections, enhance focus, and restore emotional resilience. You don't need to throw away your phone. You just need to reclaim control. Here's how. Digital fasting. Designate times where you completely disconnect. Even 1 hour a day without screens can start rewiring your mind. Meditation and breath work. Practices like mindful breathing and meditation increase prefrontal cortex activity, calming the brain and improving attention. Nature and movement. Time spent in natural environments and physical activity boosts dopamine naturally, improves mood, and heals the nervous system. Ancient wisdom meets modern brain science. Thousands of years ago, yogis practiced silence, stillness, and conscious breathing. Today, science finally validates what they knew. These practices strengthen the brain. Mindfulness meditation improves cognitive function, enhances emotional control, and thickens gray matter in areas related to focus or sweat. It reduces amygdala overactivity, lowering stress and anxiety. These are not just spiritual tools, they are neurological medicine. Tash, your brain deserves a second chance. The message of this chapter is not fear, it is hope. Your brain, no matter how overstimulated, can heal. By reducing screen overload and reintroducing stillness, silence, and simplicity into your daily life, you will notice a transformation. More energy, more peace, more clarity, and more control over your thoughts and choices. Neuroplasticity is on your side. You just need to give it the right conditions to thrive. Your brain's super flexible. It's always making new connections and changing throughout your life. This neuroplasticity helps you learn, adapt to new stuff, and even recover from injuries. When you try new things, learn skills, or your environment changes, your brain physically changes too. New connections form, old ones change, and sometimes new brain cells even pop up. That's how you learn, form habits, and bounce back. This brain flexibility is super important for growth, learning, and thinking your best so you can handle our ever-changing world. Chapter 4, How Digital Porn, PMO, and Energy Drain. Open quote, lust indulged became habit, and habit unresisted became necessity. St. Augustine, close quote. Open quote, the vital energy, virya, is not just physical. It is the essence of thought, will, and spiritual power. Its waste is the greatest loss to humanity. Sushruta Samhita, ancient Ayurvedic text, close quote. In the past, explicit material was hidden behind closed doors, guarded by secrecy and shame, but not anymore. Today, pornography is available on demand, endlessly accessible, completely anonymous, and just one click away. It's no longer confined to shady corners of society. It's now in everyone's pocket. And while the world scrolls and swipes, a silent epidemic grows. Especially among young people, PMO, porn, masturbation, orgasm, addiction has become one of the most unrecognized public health crises of our times. It doesn't just damage the body, it weakens the mind and erodes the soul. The dopamine trap. Why porn is so addictive. Unlike substances like alcohol or nicotine, digital porn delivers something even more dangerous. Unlimited novelty. Every new video, every fresh face, every scroll promises a brand new dopamine high. This constant barrage of variety tricks the brain into thinking it's discovering something new and meaningful. But it's not. It's just a high-speed loop of stimulation without satisfaction. Studies reveal that the dopamine surges triggered by porn are among the most intense in all addictive behaviors, even rivaling drugs like cocaine and heroin. And because it's endlessly available, your brain keeps coming back for more, stuck in a cycle it can't escape. How porn rewires your brain. The human brain wasn't built for this kind of digital overload. Over time, frequent porn use reshapes your brain. It alters key regions like the nucleus accumbens, pleasure center, the amygdala, emotion, the prefrontal cortex, self-control. As you chase more stimulation, your brain becomes numb to normal pleasure. It needs more extreme content just to feel aroused. MRI scans have shown that frequent users often have reduced gray matter in areas responsible for decision-making and emotional regulation. Meanwhile, the emotional brain, your amygdala, becomes hyperactive, leaving you impulsive, anxious, and emotionally unstable. It's not just about desire anymore. It becomes a neurological prison. The hidden cost, energy drain and semen loss. Beyond the brain, PMO addiction affects something even deeper, your vital energy. Ancient yogic and Ayurvedic traditions teach that semen is not just fluid, it's life force known as ojasa. This powerful substance nourishes your body, strengthens your mind, and fuels your spirit. Every ejaculation depletes this precious energy. Modern research aligns with this wisdom. Frequent ejaculation lowers testosterone, reduces motivation, weakens immunity, and clouds your mental clarity. Over time, you feel dull, fatigued, and disconnected from your inner fire. Nashak. It's not just fluid, it's biochemical gold. In every great tradition, Ayurveda, Taoism, yogic science, and modern endocrinology, semen has been described not just as a reproductive fluid, but as a storehouse of energy, strength, and vitality. Today, while the world casually glorifies its loss through indulgence, the truth is returning. Your semen is not waste, it is wealth. Let's examine what happens when you lose this powerful life essence frequently and unconsciously. According to the MAR-HCS study, China, 2021, frequent pornography use and sexual release are linked with altered hormone levels, reduced testosterone, and lower semen quality in young males. Semen contains over 200 proteins, enzymes, vitamins, B12, C, minerals, zinc, selenium, neurotransmitters, serotonin, oxytocin. When you ejaculate, especially without emotional or relational context, the body loses zinc, immune function, testosterone, fructose and citrate, energy, prostaglandins, mood and inflammation regulation, spermidine, anti-aging, cognitive health. Repeated ejaculation lowers reserves of these essential compounds, weakening both body and mind. Neurological and psychological effects of excessive loss. Your sexual energy is rooted in your dopamine system, the brain's motivation and reward center. Every ejaculation causes a dopamine spike, followed by a crash, especially with artificial stimuli like porn. This creates a loop of addiction-like behavior, mental fog, low motivation and depression, poor discipline, and impulsive choices. As Andrew Farabee notes in The Porn Pandemic, chronic PMO drains emotional strength, kills ambition, and extinguishes inner fire. Hormonal crash, testosterone and masculinity at risk. Testosterone fuels masculinity, sex drive, strength, motivation, confidence, and leadership. Frequent ejaculation can lead to lower baseline testosterone, disruption of the HPG axis, brain-testes communication, reduced luteinizing hormone LH, impairing sperm vitality. When you lose semen repeatedly, you're not just losing pleasure, you're draining the hormone that makes you feel, think, and perform like a man. Ancient wisdom confirms semen is life energy. In the sex and masturbation industry, Vic Biorseth exposes how society normalizes semen loss for profit at the expense of men's vitality. Traditional teachings have long known what science is rediscovering. Ayurveda, 40 drops of blood equals 1 drop of semen. Brahmacharya texts, semen as virya, vital force for intellect and courage. Taoism, every ejaculation shortens life force. Hatha Yoga Pradipika, he who conserves his semen attains perfection. Loss of semen leads to weak immunity, mental dullness, spiritual stagnation, emotional instability. The cost of your life purpose. When your life force leaks out through uncontrolled desires, you lose time in recovery and guilt. You lose clarity due to hormonal crashes. You lose willpower and discipline. You lose confidence. You stop moving toward your purpose. Your vision fogs. You become reactive, not intentional. This is how lives are derailed. Quietly, gradually, invisibly. Save it, transmute it, rise with it. The semen you lose is not just physical. It's mental, emotional, and spiritual. Every drop you conserve gives you more energy, more presence, more magnetism, more clarity, more strength to walk your purpose. Your semen is not meant for waste. It's meant for creation, elevation, and transformation. You are not meant to be a slave to impulse. You are meant to be a master of your energy. The physical and emotional fallout of PMO. The consequences of compulsive PMO go far beyond what most people imagine. Physically, it weakens the immune system, reduces muscle strength, lowers testosterone, and drains energy reserves. Psychologically, it fuels anxiety, depression, emotional numbness, low self-esteem, and an inability to form healthy relationships. Many users also suffer from porn-induced erectile dysfunction, IADE, a growing issue even among young, healthy men. When the brain is wired for pixels and fantasy, it struggles to respond to real-world intimacy. The result? Disconnection, frustration, shame. Losing your higher self, porn addiction doesn't just affect the body and mind, it numbs the spirit. The more you drain your sexual energy, the more you disconnect from your higher purpose. Spiritual traditions across the world have long emphasized the link between sexual energy and spiritual growth. Frequent PMO pulls you downward. It clouds your intuition, reduces inner peace, and creates an emotional vacuum that no screen can fill. In contrast, sexual energy retained and refined becomes a powerful fuel for creativity, clarity, and spiritual evolution. The power of retention, rediscovering your inner strength. The solution is not suppression, it's transformation. Practicing intentional abstinence, also called semen retention or brahmacharya, lets you reclaim your strength. Modern science backs up what ancient yogis knew. When you stop wasting your life force, it starts working for you. Testosterone rises, motivation returns, brain function sharpens, emotional balance restores, pantsless. It's not about avoiding pleasure. It's about building mastery. Channel that powerful sexual energy into something meaningful. This could be your career, art, mission, or spiritual path. How to start healing from PMO addiction recovery is not just possible, it's powerful, but it requires awareness, action, and accountability. 1. Acknowledge the reality. Understand that porn addiction is not a weakness or a sin. It's a neurological condition that rewires the brain. 2. Digital detox. Remove all explicit content. Set clear boundaries with screen time. Give your brain time to reset its dopamine pathways. 3. Rebuild a powerful routine. Start your day with movement, breath work, pranayama, and meditation. Redirect your energy through creative and purposeful tasks. 4. Find your tribe. Join recovery communities, groups, or mentorship programs. You are not alone, and healing happens faster with support. Your comeback story. This isn't just about quitting a bad habit. This is your chance to come back to life. When you stop draining your life force, you feel it surge again. The fog lifts, the shame fades. What remains is clarity, power, and purpose. You weren't born to be trapped in artificial pleasure. You were born to live boldly, with passion, purpose, and inner mastery. Your recovery begins now. Chapter 5. The Art of Digital Fasting and Brain Rewire Therapy. Almost everything will work again if you unplug it for a few minutes, including you, Anne Lamott, American author. Fasting does not begin in the body, but in the mind. To abstain is not deprivation, it is purification. Mahavakya from Yoga Vasistha. Fasting has long been a powerful tool for renewal. It helps detoxify the body, sharpen the mind, and heighten spiritual awareness. In today's digital world, fasting must evolve. Our brains need breaks from screens, just like our bodies need breaks from food. Welcome to digital fasting. Why digital fasting is essential. Too much food can overload your digestive system. Too much digital use can overload your brain. Digital stimulation, like notifications and social media, can harm your brain's reward system. This can make it hard to focus, feel emotionally stable, and stay healthy. Digital fasting gives your brain a much-needed break. Benefits. Proven by neuroscience. Science shows digital detox has many benefits. It boosts your brain's function. Less screen time means better memory, attention, and creativity. It also improves your mood. Cutting down on digital use can lower anxiety and depression by calming your amygdala. It helps you sleep better. Less blue light and mental activity mean better sleep, which is key for recovery. It balances your dopamine. Regular detox helps you find joy in everyday things again. 3 levels of digital detox: daily, weekly, and seasonal. A structured approach to digital detox is best. Here's a powerful, scientifically backed plan. NASH-1. Daily Detox Protocol, Microfast. The daily detox involves short breaks from screens every day. It refreshes your mind and resets dopamine levels. Morning quiet time, 1 hour. Start your day without screens. Instead, meditate, journal, exercise, or sit quietly. This prevents dopamine overload and sets a calm mindset for the day. Evening wind down, 1 to 2 hours. Avoid screens for 1 to 2 hours before bed. Relax with reading, meditation, or conversation. This improves sleep quality. 2. Weekly Detox Protocol, Mini Fast. Once a week, take a full day digital detox. Digital free day, 24 hours. Pick a day of the week to avoid screens. Use it to connect with nature, friends, or hobbies. Neuroscience shows weekly digital fasting boosts your brain and emotional health. Hammer 3. Seasonal Detox Protocol. Seasonal detox means longer breaks from digital every 3 months. Quarterly digital detox, 2 to 3 days. Every 3 months, take 48 to 72 hours off from digital devices. Use this time for rest, introspection, or nature. This resets your dopamine and boosts creativity and resilience. Practical steps to succeed in digital fasting. Starting digital fasting can be tough. Here are some tips to help you succeed. Create clear boundaries. Tell your friends, family, and workmates about your detox plan. Use physical reminders. Keep your devices out of bedrooms and relaxation areas. Replace digital habits with positive rituals: reading, journaling, gardening, meditation. Leverage accountability partners, someone who joins the detox with you. Overcoming common obstacles. Feeling restless, anxious, or bored during detox is normal. It's like withdrawal from a substance. These feelings usually go away in a few days as your brain adjusts. To deal with these feelings, try brain rewire without phone, meditation, breathwork, physical activity, and spending time outside. Engaging in creative or intellectual hobbies. Talking to people and having real conversations. Long-term benefits and lifestyle integration. Regular digital fasting changes your brain and emotions for the better. It keeps your mind sharp, emotions strong, and sleep deep. It also lowers anxiety and boosts creativity and happiness. It also helps you connect more with yourself, your goals, and nature. With less screen time, your relationships and experiences become more real and meaningful. The ancient wisdom of moderation. For ages, wisdom traditions have taught moderation and fasting. Ayurveda, yoga, Taoism, and Stoicism all support fasting to stay clear, resilient, and full of life. This wisdom is backed by science today. Detoxing your brain from constant digital noise is key in our connected world for lasting brain and emotional health. Embrace the power of digital fasting. Digital fasting is not about giving up, it's about freedom. By detoxing regularly, you take back control of your mind, improve your brain health, and find your lost energy. It's not about stepping back, but about connecting deeply with what's important. This is your chance to pause, reset, and find the clarity, creativity, and joy that detox offers. Your journey to true freedom and happiness starts now. Brain Rewire, the spiritual science of reprogramming the mind. In the fast-paced, overstimulated, and hypersexualized world of today, the human brain is under siege. Especially for young individuals, continuous exposure to pornography, digital addiction, and impulsive habits creates destructive neural loops, patterns that keep repeating despite guilt, regret, or the strongest resolutions. The traditional approach of self-control often fails, not because of a lack of will, but because of deep-seated impressions, called samskaras in Sanskrit, and conditioned neural wiring. Manthan Hub's brain rewire technique addresses this core issue, not just at the conscious level, but at the deepest layers of the subconscious mind and nervous system. This method isn't just a motivational idea. It is a scientific and spiritual process that blends neuroplasticity, ancient yogic wisdom, and sound healing techniques to bring about real and lasting transformation. The concept of brain rewire. Brain rewire is the process of interrupting, healing, and replacing old negative thought loops and behavioral patterns with positive, empowering, and spiritually aligned impressions. The goal is to create new neuronal pathways in the brain that instinctively move toward focus, peace, purpose, and celibacy, brahmacharya. This method is especially powerful for those suffering from PMO, porn masturbation orgasm addiction, as it directly targets the root cause: mental imagery, emotional impulses, and subconscious conditioning. Scientific research confirms that the brain is capable of neuroplasticity, the ability to reorganize and form new connections throughout life. But rewiring doesn't happen by force. It happens through repetition, emotion, relaxation, and spiritual elevation. Manthan Hub integrates these ingredients into a system that works with your mind, not against it. The tools of Brain Rewire. Each session in the Brain Rewire method is carefully designed using the following 7 healing components. Part 1, visualization. The human brain doesn't distinguish much between real experiences and vividly imagined ones. This is why negative fantasies from porn get etched so deeply into the mind. Manthan Hub uses guided positive visualization to overwrite these impressions. In each session, the listener is guided to see themselves as powerful, focused, pure, and calm. These mental images activate the same regions in the brain as real-life success, thereby training the nervous system to feel those states as natural. As per Harvard neuroscientist Dr. Srini Pillai, visualization improves neural efficiency and behavior execution. 2. Affirmation words are not just thoughts, they are frequencies. When repeated with emotion, positive affirmations create new subconscious beliefs. In brain rewire sessions, affirmations like, "I am strong and disciplined," "My mind is clear," "My energy is sacred," are not merely spoken, they are imbibed emotionally during a relaxed state. which is the most fertile ground for brain change. Studies in cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, and self-affirmation theory show that this technique alters self-perception and reduces stress-based triggers. 3. Breathing observation and listening to breath. The breath is the bridge between body and mind. By training the participant to simply observe their breath without judgment, the session activates the parasympathetic nervous system, shifting the brain from overthinking to deep stillness. This practice is akin to Vipassana meditation, which has shown profound effects on brain rewiring in areas related to attention and emotional regulation. In Manthan Hub's Rewire method, listening to the breath trains the mind to focus inward, cut off external stimuli, and reclaim control from inner chaos. 4. Relaxation response. Developed by Dr. Herbert Benson at Harvard, the relaxation response is a proven scientific method to reverse the stress response, lower cortisol, reduce anxiety, and unlock healing brain states. Manthan Hub's audio sessions use rhythmic voice tones, slow breathing cues, and gentle background sounds to induce this state. In this phase, the brain shifts from beta waves, stress, to alpha and theta waves, where long-term memory, healing, and spiritual insight are accessed. This state is essential for deep transformation. Number 5. Healing water preparation and drinking water is not inert. It holds vibrational memory, as shown by Dr. Masaru Emoto's research on water crystal structures. In Manthan Hub's method, practitioners are guided to bless their water with powerful affirmations or mantras, hold it with love and intention, and then drink it mindfully. This process trains the subconscious to associate purity, healing, and transformation with every act of drinking water. It's not superstition, it's psychophysiological anchoring, used to change emotional states through ritual and intention. Number 6, mantra healing. Mantras are not just words, they are neural reset buttons. Repeating sacred vibrations like Om, Ram, or Shivoham stimulates the vagus nerve, balances brain hemispheres, and elevates consciousness. In brain rewire sessions, mantras are embedded in the background or led vocally. The participant either listens passively or chants along. This not only uplifts the mind, but cleanses toxic impressions caused by lust, guilt, and anxiety. Neuroscience shows that chanting slows down brainwave frequency, improves gamma activity, and strengthens inner awareness. 7. Healing music frequencies. Each audio is carefully designed using healing frequencies like 432 Hz, 528 Hz, 639 Hz, and Indian raga-based classical music, which are known to reduce anxiety, promote heart coherence, activate right brain creativity, induce deep calm. Unlike ordinary music, these frequencies in Indian raga-based organized classical instrumental music are synchronized with voice, rhythm, and breathing cues, creating an immersive healing field. Studies in music therapy have shown these frequencies affect heart rate variability and brain coherence, both key to emotional transformation. The result: fast, deep, and lasting transformation. Unlike cold advice or delayed discipline methods, Brain Rewire works instantly at the subconscious level. Within just a few sessions, participants report dissolution of lustful mental images, sudden detachment from urges, emotional calm and clarity, renewed energy and spiritual purpose, deep sleep and inner satisfaction, boost in memory, focus, and creativity, long-term reduction in PMO cravings. In over thousands of recorded testimonials, individuals have called the Brain Rewire sessions miraculous, life-changing, and divine. Brain Rewire is not a motivational tool. It is a mental reset system, a spiritual technology that leverages the plasticity of the brain and the purity of the soul to heal, reprogram, and elevate. It reminds you that you are not your past patterns. You are the master of your mind. If you change the impressions in the mind, you change the direction of your life. The power is already within you. Brain Rewire just activates it. Awaken your inner strength with daily affirmations. Your mind becomes what you feed it daily. These powerful affirmations, when practiced with calming Indian classical music, help rewire your brain, strengthen self-control, and awaken your inner discipline. Use them daily to overcome distractions, heal old patterns, and step into your highest potential. Come here. 1. Morning activation, purity, and focus. Recommended music: Bansuri Tanpura in 432 Hz for alert calmness. I am the master of my senses. My energy flows upward. Today, I choose focus, purity, and purpose. I breathe in strength, I exhale distractions. My life force is sacred. I conserve it with pride. 2. Midday reset, rewire and recharge. Recommended music, Vina plus Om drone in 528 Hz for cell level healing. Lust is powerless before my awareness. My brain is rewiring. New strength is forming. I choose silence over urges. I choose light over impulse. My mind is a temple. Only purity resides within it. Number 3. Evening cleansing, calm and letting go. Recommended music, deep tanpura, soft bell, theta beat for nervous system reset. I release all negative images and memories. I forgive myself. I free myself. My sleep is sacred. My energy will restore tonight. I am in divine alignment. I trust the process. Number 4. Spiritual brahmacharya, inner power and discipline. Recommended music, Shruti box, mridangams, Om Ayam chant. Virya is my divine energy. I channel it with honor. My third eye is awakening. My focus is absolute. My brahmacharya protects me. It empowers me. Soham, I am pure consciousness and peace. Chapter 6. The Reset Ritual, Ancient Practices for Mental Reboot. When the breath wanders, the mind is unsteady, but when the breath is calmed, the mind too will be still. Hatha Yoga Pradipika. As fire purifies gold, so austerity and spiritual practice purify the mind. Swami Satchidananda. One who is established in self-discipline, meditation, and breath awareness attains a clarity that no outer knowledge can give. Patanjali Yoga Sutra 2.52. Throughout history, great civilizations knew a key truth we've forgotten. Our minds need regular renewal, just like our bodies. Ancient practices like Ashtanga Yoga in India and Zen mindfulness in Japan aim to clear minds and balance emotions. These rituals helped achieve spiritual growth. Today, our digital world makes these ancient methods more urgent. Science now backs their effectiveness in healing our brains and reversing dopamine desensitization. This chapter dives into ancient rituals backed by science. These practices heal your brain and nervous system. They help you regain control, enhance clarity, and balance your emotions. Understanding the reset ritual. A reset ritual refreshes your mind and balances your emotions. Modern science calls this neural recalibration. It heals and rebalances overstimulated neural pathways. Ancient traditions like meditation and breathing exercises knew this. Science now shows these rituals boost neuroplasticity and improve brain function. Here are key reset rituals backed by science and ancient wisdom. Number 1. Meditation, the ultimate mind reset. Meditation is humanity's oldest reset ritual. It calms the mind and boosts awareness. Modern science confirms its benefits, including reduced anxiety and improved decision-making. A simple daily meditation ritual. Duration, 10 to 20 minutes daily. Method, find a comfortable spot, but stay alert. Simply relax and focus on your breath. Just observe it naturally. Or, if you prefer, choose a word or short phrase and repeat it to yourself to maintain focus. Thoughts will inevitably arise, which is perfectly normal. Acknowledge them briefly, like observing passing clouds, and gently let them drift away. The key is to observe your internal landscape without becoming entangled in it. With practice, you'll likely feel more grounded and clear-headed and gain a deeper understanding of your thoughts and emotions. Number 2, pranayama, healing through breath. Pranayama, or controlled breathing, is a powerful reset ritual. It calms your nervous system and balances dopamine production. Research shows pranayama lowers stress hormones, improves brain oxygenation, and boosts neurological health. Recommended breathing practice: alternate nostril breathing, Nadi Shodhana technique. This breathing exercise, known as Nadi Shodhana or alternate nostril breathing, is a simple yet powerful technique for harmonizing the mind and body. It involves consciously regulating the flow of breath through the left and right nostrils. Detailed steps. 1. Find a comfortable posture. Begin by settling into a comfortable seated position. This could be cross-legged on the floor, in a chair with your feet flat, or any other posture that allows you to maintain a straight spine without tension. Rest your hands comfortably on your knees or in your lap. 2. Close one nostril. Using your right ring and little fingers together, gently close your left nostril, taking care not to press too firmly. The aim is only to obstruct the flow of air. 3. Deep inhalation. With the left nostril closed, inhale slowly, deeply, and smoothly through your right nostril. Fill your lungs completely, allowing your abdomen to expand. Pay attention to the sensation of the breath entering your body. 4. Close the opposite nostril and exhale. Once you have inhaled fully through the right nostril, gently close your left nostril using your right ring and little fingers together and hold your breath inside for 40 seconds. Then release the pressure on your left nostril. Exhale slowly and completely through your left nostril. Observe the sensation of the breath leaving your body. 5. Inhale through the exhaled nostril. After the exhalation through the left nostril, keep your right nostril closed. Hold your breath for 20 seconds outside and inhale slowly and deeply through your left nostril. Again, allow your breath to be smooth and full. 6. Alternate and repeat. Close your left nostril with your right ring and little finger together. Hold your breath inside for 40 seconds and release your right thumb. Then exhale slowly and completely through your right nostril. Hold it for 20 seconds. This completes one full cycle of alternate nostril breathing. Continue alternating the nostrils in this manner. Inhale through one nostril, exhale through the other, then inhale through the nostril you just exhaled from, and exhale through the opposite nostril. #duration and timing. For optimal benefits, practice Nadi Shodhana daily for 10 to 15 minutes. The most beneficial times to incorporate this practice into your routine are typically in the morning to invigorate the mind and prepare for the day ahead, or in the evening to release tension and promote relaxation before sleep. Regular practice of Nadi Shodhana can lead to a greater sense of calm, improved concentration, and a reduction in stress and anxiety. It is believed to balance the two hemispheres of the brain and purify the energy channels within the body. 3. Mantra chanting, harmonizing mind and brain waves. Chanting specific sound vibrations or mantras harmonizes brain waves. It reduces stress and boosts clarity. Science shows chanting improves emotional stability and creativity. Effective mantras, Om, universal vibration that calms the mind and balances the nervous system. Therapeutic mantra, Om Aryamaya Nama, reduces distraction and addiction, enhances self-control, clarity, intellect, and emotional stability. Suggested practice, Om chanting. Begin your morning with a deep breath. Exhale slowly through your mouth, chanting a long Om. Close your mouth and continue the sound until your breath is fully released. Repeat this process 10 to 12 times. Om Aryamaya Nama chanting. Chant this therapeutic mantra 108 times in the morning and 108 times in the evening. Chant it 21 times before sleep. Focus on slow and proper pronunciation. You can increase the chanting frequency if it enhances your sense of calm and stability. 4. Trataka, focused gazing, sharpening attention and clarity. Trataka, a classic yoga practice, involves staring intently at a single point like a diya flame, Om picture, third eye chakra of a spiritual guru, etc. But it's really about the focus. Research shows it can boost attention and sharpen focus in daily life. It may also improve eyesight by strengthening eye muscles. Plus, Trataka can positively impact brain function, potentially enhancing mental clarity and focus. By training your attention, you can bring mental discipline and stillness, leading to deeper awareness. Adding Trataka to your routine is an easy way to improve focus, eye health, and cognitive function, fitting right into the yoga philosophy. Method: light a diya lamp at eye level. Gaze steadily without blinking for 2 to 5 minutes. Close your eyes, visualizing the flame internally. Practice for 10 to 15 minutes daily. 5. Visualization, reprogramming your mind. Visualization is a powerful tool used in yogic meditation and cognitive therapy. It rewires your brain, creating positive patterns, reducing anxiety, and boosting emotional health. Daily visualization practice. Let's talk about carving out just 10 minutes a day for some serious mental tune-up. We're talking visualization here, and trust me, it's powerful stuff. Basically, you pick a spot in your head where you feel totally at peace. Think a chill beach, a killer mountain view, or a sun-drenched garden. Then, go there in your mind. Let those good vibes sink in. Feel the chill, get your head clear, and pump up your confidence. This isn't just zoning out, it's like a mental workout. You're teaching your brain to hit that happy, strong place whenever you need it. Doing this daily helps you stay grounded, sharp, and ready to take on whatever comes your way. Creating your daily reset ritual. Adding these practices to your daily routine makes a strong reset ritual. Morning routine, 20 to 35 minutes. Meditation, 10 minutes. Pranayama, 10 to 15 minutes. Mantra chanting, 10 minutes. Evening routine, 15 to 25 minutes. Tritaka, 5 to 10 minutes. Visualization, 15 minutes. Regularly practicing these rituals deeply resets your brain, reverses dopamine desensitization, and boosts cognitive and emotional resilience. Scientific validation of ancient wisdom. Neuroscience confirms what ancient traditions knew thousands of years ago. Regularly practicing meditation, pranayama, mantra chanting, tritaka, and visualization greatly improves mental clarity, emotional balance, and brain health. Studies show lasting improvements in brain structure, cognitive function, emotional control, reduced anxiety, and increased resilience in those who regularly practice these rituals. Beyond neuroscience, spiritual reconnection. Reset rituals aren't just good for your brain and mood, they really help you get in touch with yourself. Taking those breaks from the daily grind and doing certain things can make you think and learn more about who you are. Old yogic practices knew this, seeing these rituals as ways to find yourself and even reach higher levels of thinking. They used things like mindful movement and breathing exercises to get there. This shows us how important it is to take time for practices that create inner peace and connect us to something bigger than our day-to-day lives. As you regularly practice, you'll find renewed peace, clarity, and spiritual awareness. These qualities are often lost in our busy digital world. Committing to your reset ritual. Starting these rituals takes discipline and consistency, but the rewards are huge, bringing lasting mental clarity, emotional balance, and spiritual fulfillment. Your journey to brain recovery and spiritual connection starts with a daily commitment to these timeless rituals. This is your call to reclaim your mind, restore your energy, and reconnect with your deeper purpose. Chapter 7, Rekindling Purpose, How to Use Your Digital Tools with Discipline. Technology is a useful servant, but a dangerous master. Christian Laus Lang. When you know your purpose, distractions disappear. Robin Sharma. There was a time when a tool was something you picked up, used for a specific purpose, and put down when the task was done. A hammer built homes, a chisel shaped stone, a pen wrote wisdom. But today, our most powerful tool, technology, is not something we pick up and put down. It follows us into our beds, our minds, our moods. It decides when we work, how we feel, and what we think about next. You were never born to be ruled by your tools. You were born to master them. Feeling drained after hours of scrolling? YouTube rabbit holes got you? Social media feeds sucking up your time? Or are endless messages keeping you from getting stuff done? If any of this sounds familiar, you're in the right place. Let's be clear, tech isn't the enemy here. It can be amazing for learning and connecting, but the real issue is how easily our attention gets grabbed. These apps are designed to keep us hooked. The good news is, you can take back control. We're talking about making conscious choices about how you use tech instead of just letting it use you. It's about getting your time and energy back and steering your life in the direction you want, not just where your phone leads you. The mindless majority, living without direction. Before we speak of purpose, we must first speak of its absence. Most people today are not living by design. They are living by default. They wake up and reach for their phones without intention. They react to messages, posts, and news instead of responding to life with clarity. Their day is dictated not by their inner calling, but by external notifications. This is not a time management problem. This is a spiritual crisis of purpose. A survey by Rescue Time 2021 found that the average adult spends more than 3.5 hours per day on a smartphone, and the number is rising every year. That's over 50 days a year spent tapping and swiping instead of thinking, creating, or living. If time is life, then distraction is slow death, and digital addiction, unchecked, is a kind of suicide of potential. Understanding the purpose dopamine conflict. Let's be clear, you cannot live with both high purpose and high distraction. One will kill the other. Purpose requires effort, patience, and long-term thinking. Dopamine addiction, fed by reels, short videos, porn, and constant messaging, thrives on instant gratification and mental fragmentation. These two neurological states are like oil and water. When one rises, the other drowns. Your phone isn't just a tool, it is a dopamine slot machine. Every ping, swipe, or red notification dot is designed to pull your attention and trigger the brain's reward system. It mimics meaning without giving it. It feeds urgency, not importance. That's why even when you're doing something valuable, the sudden urge to check your phone real quick can derail your entire train of thought. The real tragedy? Most people don't even realize how deeply their lives have been redirected by micro distractions. Digital minimalism versus digital monasticism. There are two primary philosophies emerging today in the battle for digital control. Digital minimalism, from Cal Newport, is all about being super picky with your tech. Don't just drop everything, but figure out what really matters to you, like family, work, or just chilling, and only use the tech that helps with that. It means clearing out the junk, seeing how you feel without it, and then bringing back only the good stuff on purpose. It's about using tech to make life better, not just wasting time. Digital monasticism, kind of like being a monk but with your phone, suggests having strict rules for tech. Think set times for emails, no phone zones, and blocking distractions. It's about protecting your focus time and making sure you're actually present. This approach recognizes that apps can be addictive and says you need to fight back with routines and boundaries so you stay in charge of your attention. This chapter weaves both approaches, grounded in ancient Indian yogic wisdom and supported by modern neuroscience. The Purpose Protocol, a discipline for the digital mind. The Purpose Protocol is a conscious system to restructure your relationship with digital tools. It's a vow to stop being pulled and start using them intentionally. Step 1. Identify essential digital roles. Ask yourself, what do I need my phone or laptop for? What work must it help me accomplish? What communication is truly necessary? List only essential categories: communication with team, family, etc., work tools, learning platforms, creativity, content, writing, design. Everything else becomes non-essential or restricted use. Step 2. Assign time boundaries. Every app and platform should have a clear usage window. If you open it anytime, you will be used to it. Examples: Instagram, 15 minutes, once at 8 p.m., only for posting or replying to the audience. Email, twice a day, 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. YouTube, 30 minutes, 3 times a week, educational content only. Use screen timers, blockers like Freedom or AppBlock, and clearly stated reminders to enforce these boundaries. Step 3. Create digital free zones. Sacred zones build sacred minds. Designate areas where no screen enters. Your bedroom for sleep, not scrolling. Your meditation yoga space for presence, not podcasts. The dining table for connection, not comparison. Psychologically, when you define zones of stillness, your mind starts associating those areas with peace, not stimulation. Step 4. Mindful tech usage. Before opening any app, ask, what am I here for? What will I gain if I use this for the next 10 minutes? Is this helping me fulfill my deeper purpose? This tiny pause inserts consciousness between stimulus and response, retraining your brain to be driven by intention over impulse. The new productivity is presence. In ancient yogic texts, presence was considered divine. Modern science agrees. When you're present, the default mode network in your brain reduces activity. This network, often responsible for overthinking and distraction, is quieted. You become efficient, intuitive, and joyful. True productivity is not about checking 50 boxes. It's about doing the right things with full energy and presence. Every time you act with presence, you train your prefrontal cortex, the seat of willpower, focus, and discipline. Case study: Rohan's transformation. Rohan, a 26-year-old freelance designer, came to our digital detox workshop feeling overwhelmed. He worked on his laptop for 6 hours, but was online for 12. His day dissolved into watching reels, checking WhatsApp, and playing games between tasks. His creativity was dying. After applying the Purpose Protocol, Rohan structured his phone with only 10 apps, set screen-free hours before bed, and replaced dopamine scrolling with journaling and long walks. In 3 weeks, his energy surged. He finished 2 major projects, started a meditation routine, and began reading again for the first time in 5 years. The change wasn't magical. It was intentional. Escaping the validation trap. Another unseen addiction is digital approval. Every like, comment, and view becomes a hit of self-worth. But this form of worth is fragile, borrowed, and never enough. If 100 people like your post, you wonder why it wasn't 150. This is not growth. This is ego inflation wrapped in insecurity. Brahmacharya teaches detachment, not only from sex, but from all forms of external attachment. To be truly free is to act from purpose, not applause. Digital discipline demands that you create without begging for validation, that you post content because it serves, not because it pleases. Rewiring your day with purpose. Let's build a daily rhythm based on ancient principles and modern insights. Morning, first hour, no screens. Silence, sunlight, stretching, mantra or breath. Journal 3 intentions. How do I want to think, feel, and serve today? Chash midday, digital sprint. Try setting aside 90-minute blocks for really focused work. Each of these sessions should be for one task, one clear objective. 0 interruptions allowed. Turn off notifications, stay off social media, and try to ignore random thoughts. Immerse yourself and stay focused. You'll be surprised by how much you can do. After these intense work bursts, take a break. Here's the key. Avoid distractions that will mess with your focus. Skip anything that gives you a huge dopamine hit and makes it hard to return to work. Instead, do things that relax and recharge you. Think a short walk, some quiet time, or just spacing out for a moment. This will leave you refreshed, not frazzled. This approach will help you be both productive and keep your cool. Evening, 8 p.m. onwards. No social apps, no bright screens. Reflect. Did I honor my purpose? What drained me today? Purpose reclaims power. There's a warrior asleep inside you, not someone violent, but someone vigilant, capable of saying, my energy is sacred. My attention is not for sale. I will live with purpose, not programming. When you use your tools with discipline, they become your allies. When you let them control you, they become your enemies. The choice is simple, and it is made every hour. Let the fire of your purpose burn bright enough to melt distraction. Let every click, every keystroke, every scroll become a conscious offering to your higher self. Chapter 8, Building a Superhuman Routine in a Tech-Heavy World. He who regulates his life by discipline and self-restraint and moves in the world unattached is not tainted by action. Bhagavad Gita. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Aristotle. What separates an average life from a legendary one? Not intelligence, not luck, not even opportunity. The real separator is routine. Basically, the awesome things great people do, like spiritual leaders, top athletes, and innovators, don't just happen. They build their success on a carefully planned daily routine. This isn't just a random list of chores. It's a system they create on purpose. It helps them save energy, focus intensely, and always stay connected to their main goals. These routines become the solid base for their amazing lives, helping them handle challenges and stay on track. Look, with all the digital noise we've got going on, having a solid daily routine is key to keeping it together. It helps clear your head by blocking out distractions, and it's great for your body too. Getting enough sleep, eating well, and exercising keeps you energized and chills you out. Plus, a good routine gives you a sense of control and peace because you're focused on what really matters. Honestly, in today's crazy world, having that routine is what gives you the stability to live a balanced and fulfilling life. This chapter will help you design a superhuman routine, a powerful blend of ancient yogic rhythm, modern neuroscience, and digital discipline that transforms your day into a weapon of growth and transformation. Why routine is the new superpower. Your brain thrives on rhythm. It is designed to function in cycles, circadian rhythms, the 24-hour sleep-wake cycle, ultradian rhythms, 90-minute work-rest patterns, and hormonal waves that follow light, food, and emotional cues. When your life flows without structure, eating irregularly, sleeping inconsistently, scrolling endlessly, your brain loses biological harmony. You fall into chronic fatigue, brain fog, anxiety, and mood swings. Neuroscientists now call this cognitive dissonance of rhythm. On the other hand, when you build your days with clear rituals and repeatable patterns, you activate what yogis called Ritambhara Prajna, the mind in alignment with cosmic order. The 3 pillars of a superhuman routine. To build a powerful routine in the modern age, you need 3 anchors. 1, energy protection. What drains you must be identified and sealed. 2, mental clarity. What sharpens your mind must be practiced daily. 3. Purposeful action. What aligns you with your deeper mission must become non-negotiable. Let's break each of these down. Number 1. Energy protection, the foundation of vitality. The first task of a superhuman routine is to stop the leakage. Your energy is drained every day, not just by work, but by aimless scrolling, excessive PMO, negative conversations, multitasking, skipping meals or eating junk, unstructured nights. A Harvard study found that up to 47% of your waking hours are spent in distraction, mentally elsewhere, even while physically active. That's nearly half your life lost to energetic leakage. Daily rituals for energy protection. Wake time. Fix your wake up time, preferably before 6 a.m. It's better if you can wake up between 4 a.m. to 5 a.m., as this time is considered to be Brahma Muhurat, and it is highly beneficial for you. Irregular wake cycles confuse your nervous system and weaken hormonal balance. No phone first hour. Begin your day in silence. Light, breath, not stimulation. Protect your brain's early dopamine cycle. Hydration and movement. Drink 500 milliliter warm water and move your body. Sun salutations, walking, or light yoga. Digital sunset. Stop screen exposure 1.5 hours before sleep. This guards your melatonin cycle and sleep quality. Create a daily intention. I will guard my energy like it's sacred currency. Number 2, mental clarity. Building a laser-focused brain. Your brain is a tool of unimaginable power, but it needs training. The modern brain is constantly pulled in different directions with tons of notifications, endless online stuff, news, and social media comparisons. This constant flood leads to mental exhaustion, specifically cortical fatigue. Cortical fatigue means our prefrontal cortex, the brain's control center for things like discipline, planning, and memory, gets overloaded. It's like it has a limited battery, and all those decisions drain it. This decision overload makes it harder to focus, plan, and resist distractions. Basically, our brain gets tired and we end up more impulsive and less disciplined. Mental training must be daily, non-negotiable, sacred. Daily rituals for mental clarity meditation. 10-20 minutes. Practicing mindfulness through techniques such as observing the natural rhythm of your breath or engaging in the repetition of a chosen mantra serves as a potent method for quieting the activity of the nervous system. This calming effect on the nervous system has been scientifically linked to a tangible physiological benefit, an increase in cortical thickness. The cerebral cortex, the brain's outer layer, is responsible for higher level cognitive functions, including attention, memory, and self-awareness. By consistently employing these mindful practices, individuals can actively promote the structural integrity and functional capacity of this critical brain region, fostering greater mental clarity and emotional regulation. Deep work sessions. Use 90-minute blocks, no distractions, for creative or focused tasks. Respect ultradian rhythms, your brain's natural work-rest cycle. Writing or journaling. 5 to 10 minutes. Spending just 5 to 10 minutes writing or journaling can really boost your brain power. It helps you get clear on what you want and look back at what you've done. This quick reflection sharpens your focus, planning, and organization skills, and makes you more self-aware, leading to better goal achievement. Mindful meals. Eat without screens. Choose slowly. Presence during meals improves digestion and parasympathetic balance. Protect your attention like a monk guards a temple. In today's world, where digital distractions are everywhere, being able to concentrate is super important and not always easy. You've got to protect your focus, like guarding a temple by a monk. Knowing how precious your attention is and keeping distractions out is key. This kind of focus helps you get more done and really be in the moment. Number 3, purposeful action, the fuel of meaning. Life without direction is suffering. The brain without purpose turns destructive. Without a clear why, even productivity becomes a form of distraction. Your superhuman routine must include a purpose checkpoint every single day. Daily rituals for purposeful action. Morning vision check, 2 minutes. Ask yourself, what am I building? Who am I serving? What action today will bring me closer? Evening reset ritual, 5 minutes. What drained me today? What did I neglect? How can I rise again tomorrow? Weekly Dharma planning, Sunday 30 minutes. Review your larger life goals and make sure your daily routine reflects your destiny. You're not here to exist. You're here to build, uplift, and awaken others. Ancient blueprint for the modern routine. Let's integrate all of the above into a full daily superhuman schedule grounded in brahmacharya, Vedic rhythm, and modern science, subject to adjustments and alterations based on your availability, timetable, convenience, and comfort level. Daily superhuman schedule time, practice, purpose. Purpose, the mind. 5:30 a.m., wake up plus water, stretching. Align with nature's rhythm. 6 a.m., meditation breath work. Reset mind and nervous system. Purpose journaling. Focus the mind. 7 a.m., light exercise or sun salutation. Activate energy body. 7:30 a.m., nourishing breakfast. Ground yourself. 8 to 10 a.m., deep work session 1, high focus creative output. 10:30, nature walk break, ultradian recovery. 11 to 1 p.m., work study, balanced focus. 1 p.m., mindful lunch, parasympathetic. 2 to 4 p.m., work session 2, purpose-driven task. 4:30 p.m., short nap, prayer, silence. Midday brain reboot. Sixercise. Spiritual reading, strengthen body and mind. 7 p.m., light dinner. End the digestive cycle early. 8 p.m., digital sunset reflection, release from technology, Tritaka visualization, calm the senses. 9:30 p.m., sleep, regeneration begins. The silent power of Vairagya, detachment in action. In a world flooded with dopamine distractions, it may sound strange to speak of detachment. After all, the modern self-help movement promotes passion, hustle, and relentless engagement. But ancient Indian wisdom offers a deeper perspective. True strength arises not from constant stimulation, but from inner freedom. That freedom is called Vairagya, the gentle force that allows you to remain centered while the world spins around you. What is Vairagya? Vairagya is not escapism. It's not about withdrawing to a cave or giving up responsibility. Rather, it is the inner state of being unattached to fleeting pleasures, sensory cravings, or outcomes. It is the ability to say no to the unnecessary and yes to the eternal. Without Vairagya, the mind is like a leaf in the wind, tossed about by every notification, temptation, and desire. With Vairagya, you develop viveka, the discerning wisdom to know what truly matters. Ancient echoes. Wisdom from the Vairagya Shatak Bhartrihari. The great poet-philosopher wrote the Vairagya Shatak after having lived the extremes of indulgence and finally discovering the emptiness it brought. His words are not renunciations out of weakness, but revelations from deep insight. Yavat swasthamidan shariram anvastita mrityur bhavati tavat pashyam darshtivyam shravaniyan shrotavyam. While the body is still healthy and death has not arrived, let us seek the truth, hear what must be heard, and see what must be seen. This verse reminds us of urgency. Before your senses are stolen by the digital whirlwind, use them wisely. Do not postpone wisdom for a day when it may never return. Pogana pukta vyamev pukta. Tapona taptan vyamev tapta. Pleasures were not enjoyed. Rather, we were consumed by them. Austerities were not practiced. Rather, we were scorched by their absence. Every indulgence feels like freedom until you realize it enslaved your will. True freedom is not found in indulgence, but in mastery over indulgence. Nivrittan karm prajeu syuanayati ye prarthana vanchanaya. Purposeful action with detachment. Work sincerely, not desperately. Walk the path because it is right, not because applause awaits. Vairagya builds viveka and vichara. Viveka, discernment, grows when you consistently withdraw from noise and choose stillness. It helps you recognize the false promises of digital highs and temporary pleasures. Vichara, self-inquiry, arises when you begin asking deeper questions. Why am I drawn to this habit? Is this truly necessary? Does this align with who I want to become? Both are inner lights guiding a brahmachari, a yogi, a warrior in the digital age. Why Vairagya is essential in the superhuman routine. Without Vairagya, energy protection becomes forced avoidance. Without Vairagya, mental clarity becomes temporary calmness. Without Vairagya, purposeful action becomes obsessive hustle. But with Vairagya, every action becomes rooted in intelligence, grace, and spiritual freedom. In the age of hyperconnectivity, detachment is not weakness, it is a superpower. Vairagya is the silent root that allows the tree of self-mastery to grow tall. He who has conquered the self, for him the self is the best friend. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verse 6. Case study: how this routine transforms lives. 1. Jankar, age 19, student. Jankar was stuck. Gaming and porn addiction were wrecking his grades and confidence. Procrastination and distractions kept him trapped in the same loop. Then he applied the superhuman routine. It wasn't a quick fix. He had to rebuild his entire daily system and mindset. Through discipline, structure, and consistency, he slowly reclaimed control of his life. Results: cleared academic backlogs, regained confidence, took responsibility for his habits, started waking up at 4:30 a.m. consistently, experienced massive personal growth. Jankar proved that with structure, discipline, and intention, addiction can be replaced with achievement. Vivek, age 32, entrepreneur, overwhelmed with business pressure and social media anxiety. After applying the deep work block model plus digital sunset, his productivity doubled, anxiety reduced dramatically. Non-shredder 3. Yes, you. You don't need to change overnight. Building dopamine discipline is not about flipping your life upside down. Start with one simple ritual: meditation, breath work, journaling, or a focused 20-minute work block. As this becomes natural, add the next. Your brain adapts gradually. Your energy rises steadily. Your focus strengthens naturally. It's all about sustainable progress, not drastic change. The final truth: freedom is found in structure. In a chaotic world, the one with routine rules his destiny. While others scroll, you will rise. While others waste, you will build. While others react, you will respond with inner power. Routines are not cages, they are containers, holding your fire so it doesn't burn out. Build a routine so strong that even your off days outperform other people's best days. Live not by the moods of your mind, but by the rhythm of your mission. Chapter 9. The power of breath, unlocking vital energy and mental clarity. The breath is the bridge which connects life to consciousness, which unites your body to your thoughts. Whenever your mind becomes scattered, use your breath as the means to take hold of your mind again. Thich Nhat Hanh. Prana is indeed the life of all. Everything is sustained by prana. Chandogya Upanishad. There's something we all do thousands of times a day. It's so ordinary, so constant that most people never stop to notice it. But this quiet rhythm, our breath, is perhaps the most powerful force we carry inside us. You can survive without food for weeks. You can go days without water. But without breath, life ends in just a few minutes. It's strange, then, that so many of us live with such little awareness of how we breathe or what it does to us. Breath, in truth, is not just a function. It's a tool, a bridge, a source of clarity in a world that rarely pauses. When you're overwhelmed, distracted, anxious, angry, or lost in overthinking, breath is one of the only things you can gently guide to regain control. The ancient yogis understood this deeply. They developed pranayama, a system of breath work not only for health, but for higher awareness. And now, centuries later, modern neuroscience is proving that those ancient techniques weren't mystical guesses. They work. They change how the brain operates. They shift mood, memory, focus, even the way we see the world. Breath is not just air, it's energy. In yogic understanding, every breath carries prana, the subtle life energy that sustains both body and mind. This isn't metaphorical, it's experiential. When you breathe consciously, prana expands. When the breath is short and shallow, that energy constricts. You've probably felt the difference. After a few long, full breaths, the body softens, thoughts settle. There's more space inside. But when we're breathing without awareness, tight, rushed, or erratic, something inside begins to tense and fragment. It doesn't help that most people today spend hours slouched over devices, staring at screens, rarely moving or looking up. That kind of living restricts prana. It disrupts the body's natural rhythm. And the result? Mental fatigue, low motivation, poor sleep, and emotional imbalance. Pranayama, the ancient yogic practice of breathing exercises, is like a reset button for your inner self. It involves various techniques designed to clear out energy pathways, called nadi in the body, allowing your life force, or prana, to flow freely. This practice also helps balance the body's energy centers, or chakras, leading to stability and a deeper connection with your inner peace. Modern science supports these ideas too. Controlled breathing activates your body's relaxation response, lowering stress levels. Brain imaging shows that these exercises improve communication between different parts of the brain, which enhances focus, emotional control, and decision making. This aligns with the traditional view of pranayama bringing mental clarity and balance. Breathing and emotion are intertwined. Think about how you breathe when you're anxious: quick, shallow, mostly in the chest. When you're angry, it's sharp. When calm, the breath is slow and deep. When fully focused, it's steady and subtle. We all do this instinctively, but what many people don't realize is this: you can reverse the process. If you breathe like someone calm, your mind will begin to follow. If you breathe like someone focused, your thoughts will sharpen. It's not just a reflection, it's a lever. Slowing your exhale, for instance, helps activate your body's rest and digest response. It cools down the emotional centers in the brain. Meanwhile, breathing deeply and forcefully energizes you when you're feeling dull or scattered. In fact, brain scans show that breath awareness increases activity in the prefrontal cortex, which governs willpower and decision making, and decreases overactivity in the amygdala, the area tied to fear and reactivity. How the modern world is wrecking our breath. It's hard to breathe well in a world like ours. We're overstimulated. Most people are hunched over for hours, breathing through their mouths, barely moving their diaphragms. And this has consequences. Some common patterns show up again and again: shallow chest breathing, rapid, overactive breath, breathing through the mouth instead of the nose, irregular rhythm, especially under stress or screen fatigue. Over time, this kind of breathing contributes to poor focus, exhaustion, mood swings, and even nervous system burnout. So instead of waiting for illness or anxiety to push us into change, we can choose to return to the breath intentionally. We can train it, just as the yogis once did. A simple daily routine for breath reset. You don't need hours. Just 10 to 15 minutes in the morning and a few minutes before bed can make a huge difference. What follows is a simple protocol you can start with, rooted in yogic tradition and supported by modern research. 1. Nadi Shodhana, alternate nostril breathing. This one's all about balance. It soothes the mind and resets mental clutter. Please refer to Chapter 6, as we have already explained how to start Nadi Shodhana pranayama. Research shows this practice improves communication between brain hemispheres and increases GABA, a neurotransmitter that reduces anxiety. 2. Brahmari, humming bee breath, a beautiful practice that quiets the mind through vibration. Inhale through the nose. Gently close your ears with your thumbs. Rest your fingers over your closed eyes. As you exhale, hum like a bee, softly and steadily. Feel the vibration inside your head and chest. Repeat 7 to 10 rounds. Scientific benefits include reduced cortisol levels and increased nitric oxide production, which helps the body relax. 3. Bhastrika, bellows breath. This one's for energy. It's sharp and fast, great for shaking off fatigue. Sit in a grounded position. Inhale forcefully through the nose, expanding the chest. Exhale just as forcefully, using your abdominal muscles. Do this at a rhythm of 1 breath per second. Complete 30 breaths, pause, and rest. Repeat for 2 to 3 rounds. Caution, not for those with heart conditions or high blood pressure. Please practice these breathing exercises under the instruction and supervision of a perfect yogi or guru. Always practice it on an empty stomach, or you shouldn't have eaten anything 2 hours before the practice. Benefits include improved oxygen delivery, mental alertness, and activation of the prefrontal cortex. Hash a sample breath routine, subject to adjustments. Time, practice, duration. Morning, Nadi Shodhana Bhastrika, 10-20 minutes. Evening, Brahmari plus quiet sitting, 5 to 10 minutes. After each dopamine regulation session, take some time to quietly reflect. Get comfortable and let your breathing return to normal. Pay attention to how your body feels, any comfort, tension, or just neutrality, without judging it or trying to change it. These moments of stillness are key for your brain to lock in the positive changes from the session. This calm reflection helps you absorb the benefits and reinforce those good behaviors and reward pathways in your brain. It makes the session more than just an exercise. It's a real neurological reset that sticks. How this supports brahmacharya. Here's something rarely discussed. Breath plays a major role in managing sexual energy. When the nervous system is unstable, urges and impulses become harder to control. But when the breath is slow and conscious, the same energy can be transformed. Whenever you feel restless, whether due to desire, irritation, or even fatigue, pause, sit up, close your eyes, breathe deeply and slowly. Pay attention to each aspect of your breath. Consciously count your inhalations and exhalations. It won't suppress the urge, it will dissolve it. With practice, this becomes your inner shield. Breath as a path to higher awareness. What makes breath so powerful is that it connects what we do consciously and what happens automatically. It's the only system in the body that we can take control of, and also one that runs on its own. That's why yogis call it the bridge between body and soul. During meditation, mantra, or prayer, the breath becomes more than oxygen. It becomes a vehicle of intention. The deeper the breath, the clearer the mind. And in that space, insight flows. As one Upanishad says so simply, prana is the thread that binds body, mind, and soul. Control it, and you control life itself. The Prashna Upanishad establishes prana as life's central force, stating, as spokes are fixed in the hub and the rim, so in this Atman all is fixed. Prana, the mind, the senses, and the elements, 2.5. Its sustaining power is further emphasized. Prana is verily the fire that burns and illuminates. It is the sun that gives life to all, 3.3. The Chandogya Upanishad unequivocally declares prana's supremacy. Prana is Brahman. All life depends on prana, 5.115, illustrated by the dependence of other vital forces on prana. Mapping existence, the Taittiriya Upanishad positions prana as a subtle layer supporting the body and senses. From the self comes prana. It supports the body and the senses, 2.2.1, bridging the physical and mental. The Katha Upanishad elevates prana metaphysically. Higher than the senses is the mind, higher than the mind is the intellect, higher than that is the great Atman, and higher than the Atman is the unmanifested prana, 2.3.1. Together, these Upanishadic verses converge on a fundamental principle. Mastery of prana equates to mastery of life itself. One breath at a time. You don't need a perfect technique. You don't need hours. You don't even need silence. You only need presence. Take 5 minutes, then maybe 10. Let the breath teach you how to listen again. Every inhale, a beginning. Every exhale, a letting go. This is not some mystical secret. It's just you, remembering something ancient. And every breath is your way back home. Chapter 10. Designing your life for focus, clarity, and inner strength. Your task is not to seek love or power or peace, but merely to seek and remove all the barriers within yourself that you have built against them. Rumi. Endowed with wisdom, one casts off both good and evil deeds. Therefore, strive for yoga is skill in action. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 50. There comes a moment in every seeker's journey where information must become transformation, where knowledge must translate into practice, and where healing becomes habit. You've made it this far, not just by reading, but by awakening. You now understand how dopamine hijacks the mind, how overstimulation destroys purpose, how breath reconnects the body to the soul, and how ancient rituals can revive modern clarity. But now, a deeper question arises. How do I live this? Every single day. This chapter is your blueprint for that final rebuild, not of your personality, but of your lifestyle. Because your life doesn't change when you read a book. Your life changes when you build a system that aligns with your purpose, protects your energy, and trains your mind for greatness. The truth about change, it's not motivation, it's design. Most people think transformation begins with willpower, but the real secret lies in structure. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Modern behavioral science, from the work of B.J. Fogg and James Clear to ancient Vedic psychology, agrees on one thing. If you want lasting change, you must rewire your environment, habits, and energy rituals, not just your thinking. Let's now design that final system, your superhuman lifestyle framework. The 4 core layers of a resilient life. Your new lifestyle must be designed like a pyramid, with a strong base that supports higher growth. Here are the 4 layers you must reinforce daily. 1. Physiological power. Energy, vitality, and physical self-care. 2. Mental structure. Focus, discipline, and emotional regulation. 3. Spiritual stability. Clarity of purpose and connection to self. 4. Mission execution, contribution, productivity, and purposeful action. Let's explore how to structure each layer into your daily life. Power 1, physiological power. The body that supports the mind. Without energy, no higher practice survives. If your body is inflamed, lethargic, or imbalanced, your mind will be weak. Key practices: sleep discipline, 10 p.m. to 30 a.m., sleep cycle aligned with melatonin and cortisol rhythms for brain detox and hormonal balance. Digital sunset, screens off 90 minutes before bed. Reclaim your circadian rhythm. Light fasting, 12 to 14 hours overnight, supports autophagy, gut repair, and mental clarity. Water ritual. Start the day with 500 milliliter warm water, lemon salt to activate digestion and hydrate the brain. Movement. Daily 30 to 45 minutes. Yoga, walking, or resistance training builds mitochondrial health and serotonin. You must treat your body as the temple of your higher purpose, not just a vessel for convenience. Our bodies aren't just ways to get around or hold our brains. They're key to reaching our goals. If we don't take care of them, we're hindering ourselves. We need to rethink how we treat our bodies. Instead of just going for what feels good right now, we should really respect them. That means eating well, moving regularly, and getting enough rest, not just to look good, but to be strong and energized for what we want to achieve. Ignoring these needs just gets in our way. When we start seeing our bodies as important to our goals, we switch from just ignoring them to actually taking care of them. It's about realizing that feeling good physically helps us achieve our goals and live a life we value. Taking care of our bodies isn't a chore. It's a way of respecting ourselves and making sure we can do our best in life. It's an investment in our future and what we want to do. 2, mental structure. Training the mind like a warrior. A scattered mind wastes a powerful soul. You must now train your brain like an athlete trains his muscles. All that potential sits there, energy going nowhere because of constant distractions and scattered thoughts. If you want to use that power, you've got to train your brain. Just like athletes work hard to get physically fit, you need to build mental strength. That means clearing out the mental junk, choosing where you put your attention, and learning to focus for longer. An unfocused mind gets tired easily, jumping to whatever's easiest or newest. But with practice, you can shape your brain into a tool that stays sharp and focused. This kind of mental discipline unlocks your thinking power, lets you understand things better, be more creative, and really do what you're capable of. Getting a focused mind takes work and dedication, but what you get in return, a strong, unleashed mind, is worth it. Key practices: 90-minute deep work windows. Maximize output during peak dopamine cycles, early morning or post-nap. Breath reset between tasks. 3 minutes of conscious breathing between work blocks calms the nervous system and improves attention. Journal prompt, daily. What distracted me today? What energized me today? What do I choose to do differently tomorrow? Distraction audit. Review your digital behavior like a monk guards his thoughts. Remove what pulls your energy away from your purpose. The mind becomes your ally when it is given routine, rhythm, and rest. Want a more focused, productive mind? It's all about building a solid foundation. Think of it as training your brain to work with you, not against you. Here's the lowdown. Get into a daily routine to cut down on decision fatigue. Your brain loves knowing what's coming next. Then figure out your natural energy flow. Do the heavy lifting when you're at your peak and save the lighter stuff for when you're winding down. It's about working smarter, not harder. And seriously, don't skip on rest. Good sleep and chill breaks are non-negotiable. They let your brain recharge and keep you sharp. Basically, when you put these things in place, routine, rhythm, and rest, you're setting your mind up for success. You'll go from feeling scattered to being super focused and get a whole lot more done. Hanner 3, spiritual stability, reconnecting with your inner axis. The greatest danger in modern life is outer success with inner emptiness. You must anchor your actions in something deeper than metrics or achievements. We often chase after things like money, fame, and titles, thinking they'll make us happy. But sometimes, even if we get those things, we can still feel really empty inside. It's like winning, but not feeling like a winner. To really feel fulfilled, we need to focus on more than just ticking off achievements. We need to have a reason for what we do, like sticking to our values, building strong relationships, learning new things, or contributing to something bigger than ourselves. These are the things that keep us going and give us a lasting sense of satisfaction. Without these inner guides, we can get caught in a loop of constantly trying to achieve more, thinking it'll finally make us feel whole. But that feeling doesn't last. We need to build up our inner selves, something that stays strong no matter what's happening around us. Then success isn't just a trophy. It's a natural result of living a life with purpose. Key practices: morning stillness, 15-45 min, meditation, mantra, or conscious silence upon waking. Purpose reaffirmation, write or recite your mission statement aloud daily. Solitude ritual, weekly, at least 1 hour without any screens, talking, or input. Walk in nature, sit in silence, or reflect deeply. You are not just a body or brain. You are consciousness embodied. Your spiritual alignment gives your discipline divine power. Your being goes beyond just your body and brain. Your consciousness in physical form, a being of awareness. This consciousness has a lot of power that can be increased with focused effort. True discipline isn't just about being tough or making habits. The strongest discipline comes from spiritual alignment, connecting with your inner self, values, and purpose. When your actions match your inner core, your discipline becomes powerful, almost divine. It's about living by your truths, not necessarily religion. This spiritual base makes your discipline strong, turning it from a burden to a natural expression of who you are. It boosts your resolve and helps you face challenges with focus and peace. Number 4, mission execution, aligning action with inner calling. At the top of your lifestyle pyramid is your contribution, what you give to the world. Success means nothing if it comes from chaos. True productivity is born from integrity with your values. Let's talk about success for a minute. We often get caught up in just doing without really thinking about why. But honestly, if we're just running around trying to get stuff done with no plan, any wins we get won't stick. Real, lasting success, the kind that feels good and means something, comes from sticking to what matters to you, what you believe in. Being honest and true to yourself in everything you do, that's where the real magic happens. How you get to success is as important as the success itself. Sure, shortcuts and bending the rules might get you somewhere quickly, but they'll eat away at what you've built. Working from a place of integrity means you're focused, you have a plan, and you know what you're aiming for. You choose how to spend your time and energy, and you make sure it aligns with your values. This makes you stronger and more resilient when things get tough. When your success comes from a place of honesty, you feel good about it. You know you earned it in the right way, and that's a great feeling. People trust you, and you trust yourself. On the flip side, if you just chase success without thinking about your values, you'll probably burn out and feel pretty empty. You might make decisions you regret, and that can hurt your reputation. Getting things done is great, but getting the right things done in the right way is what counts. So, connecting with your values isn't just about being a good person, it's about setting yourself up for real, lasting success in everything you do. Key practices. Daily top 3. Write the 3 most important results for the day. Do them first without interruption. Focus blocks. Use the Pomodoro method, 25-5-5 or 50-10 intervals for undistracted execution. You know how it feels when you just can't seem to focus? One way to beat that is by using something like the Pomodoro technique. It's basically just working in chunks with little breaks. So you pick a task or two and say, okay, I'm all in on this for the next bit. You could do 25 minutes of hardcore focus and then take a 5-minute breather. Do that a few times and then grab a longer break. This is great when you need to concentrate. Or if you're working on something that takes a bit more time, try 50 minutes working followed by 10 minutes to chill. The key here is to actually focus when you're supposed to. Turn off the phone buzzers, close extra tabs, and tell folks you need your space. And when you get to the break, actually step away. Get some water, stretch your legs, or just look out the window. Try either of these time chunks and see what feels right for you. You'll probably find you get way more done when you give your brain these focused bursts and little rests. It's all about working smarter, not just harder. Completion ritual. Ask, did I serve? Did I stay present? What can I sharpen tomorrow? Do not let your energy scatter into 100 apps and platforms. Build one thing. Serve one mission. Live one truth. The Superhuman Lifestyle Framework. Daily sample schedule subject to adjustments. Time, activity, layer. 4:30 a.m. Wake plus hydrate movement, physiological power. 6 a.m. Meditation mantra. Spiritual stability, 6:30 right mission plus top 3 priorities, mental structure. 7 a.m. Deep work session 1, mission execution. 8 mindful breakfast, break, physiological power. 10 a.m. focus session 2, creation work, mission execution. 12:30 p.m. screen-free lunch, mental reset. 2 p.m. breath resets reflection, task 3. Mental structure, 4 p. walk, nap, silence. Spiritual recovery, reading or study. Mental growth, 7 light dinner. Physiological rest, 8 p.m. digital sunset, evening ritual, sleep hygiene. 9 journal, gratitude, sleep, full system integration. Transformation begins when you live what you know. You don't need to wait for motivation. You don't need to be perfect. You need to build a daily system that supports your higher self. Every breath, every click, every food choice, every hour becomes an act of rebuilding or relapse. You are either creating the life you were born to live or consuming the one that's being sold to you. If you follow the practices in this book, not all at once, but slowly, consistently, you will witness a silent revolution within. Your focus will deepen. Your urges will quieten. Your mind will become razor sharp. Your spiritual center will stabilize. And slowly, you will stop chasing meaning. You will become meaningful. Intuitive reflection. The digital world is not going to slow down. Temptation will not disappear. Noise will keep rising. But you can build your lifestyle with precision. Guard your energy with reverence. Design your day with devotion and walk forward, calm, clear, powerful, and anchored in truth. Your final rebuild begins now. Chapter 11. The Identity Shift. Becoming the master of your mind, not its slave. Open quote. The one who has conquered himself is greater than the one who conquers 1,000 in battle. The Dhammapada. Close quote. Open quote. When the 5 senses and the mind are still, and the intellect is at rest, then begins the highest path. Kath Upanishad 2.310. Close quote. This single truth has liberated sages, warriors, monks, and can liberate you too. Most people today are not controlled by others. They are controlled by their own mind. Worse, they are controlled by the identity they unknowingly wear. If you say, I have no control over my urges, I'm just lazy by nature, I can't focus because I'm addicted, then your identity is already hijacked, not by dopamine, but by your self-definition. This chapter is about reclaiming the throne of your mind by performing the most powerful reset of all, the identity reset. The power of self-image in neuroscience. Modern research confirms what yogis have known for centuries. Your actions don't come from willpower. They come from your self-concept. In neuroscience, this is called cognitive consistency. Open quote, you will subconsciously behave in ways that are consistent with who you believe you are. Close quote. If you believe you are weak, you will give up easily. If you believe you are not a morning person, you will struggle to rise early. If you believe you are someone who needs porn to release stress, your brain will find ways to justify the habit. This is not fate. This is programmable. Vedic psychology, ahamkara versus swadharma. In yogic philosophy, the false self is called ahamkara, the ego personality that believes, I am this body, I am this urge, I am my past. All right, let's talk about ahamkara. It's basically this idea in yoga philosophy about the fake you, or the ego, and how it messes with our heads. Ahamkara makes us think, we are the body, so we obsess over its needs. We are the emotion, so desires and fears define us. We are the story, so past memories shape our identity. This keeps the mind stuck in suffering and separation. The true self is Atman, pure awareness, untouched by addiction, trauma, or thought. When ahamkara dominates, you suffer. When Atman awakens, you lead. Your task is not to suppress the ego, but to retrain it to serve your true nature, your swadharma, soul-aligned identity. This means choosing to embody the mindset of a yogi, calm, aware, detached, seeker, curious, growing, purpose-driven. Warrior, focused, disciplined, resilient, not someday, now. The identity rewiring loop. Here is the 4-stage identity transformation loop rooted in ancient wisdom and modern neuroscience. 1. Observation. Notice what you tell yourself. Write down your recurring self-statements. Are they empowering or limiting? I always relapse. I can't meditate. I get angry too easily. Awareness is the first weapon of the awakened mind. 2. Interruption. Consciously reject these identity statements. Say aloud or write, open quote, "This is not me. This is a program I'm uninstalling." Close quote. Tools to interrupt old identity loops: breathwork, affirmation, sankalpa, sacred intention. 3. Installation. Build a new identity through intention plus aligned action. Examples. Instead of "I'm addicted," affirm "I'm learning to master my energy." Instead of "I can't control urges," affirm "I observe my urges and rise above them." Repeat during meditation, mirror time, or journaling. Let it sink into your neural pathways. 4. Repetition plus reinforcement. Your brain learns by repetition and reward. So, celebrate small wins, revisit identity every morning, reinforce with disciplined behaviors. Within 21 to 40 days, your subconscious begins acting from your new identity, not the old one. Chash the SWA identity declaration exercise. Take a quiet moment. Breathe. Reflect. Write, "I am not my past habits. I am. My purpose is to. Every day, I choose to live as." Examples. I am a focused, purpose-driven man. I protect my energy and channel it toward growth. I am a yogic soul. I do not chase pleasure. I create peace. I am the master of my impulses. I build my life through action, not addiction. Read it aloud every morning. Feel it. Live it. Let it become you. Why most people fail at self-improvement. Most people fail not because they lack effort, but because they never change their self-image. They do dopamine detox, but still call themselves broken. They try brahmacharya, but still think "I'm just a weak guy." They meditate, but internally believe "I'm not the type for this." You cannot meditate like a yogi with the self-talk of an addict. You cannot build focus with the identity of a victim. To live a higher life, you must first become a higher version of yourself, internally. For a truly meaningful and fulfilling life, a higher life as we might call it, you have to start with changing yourself on the inside, not focusing on what you get or achieve on the outside. You need to become a better, more capable, and wiser version of yourself at your core. The Warrior's Mirror Practice, daily 3-minute tool. Stand in front of a mirror every morning. Look into your own eyes. Breathe deeply. Say aloud, 1. I am no longer who I was. I am who I choose to become. 2. I am not my urges. I am their master. 3. My discipline protects my purpose. My energy is sacred. 4. I forgive the past. I focus on the present. I rise with power. Do this for 21 days. You will feel something shift, not just in your mind, but in your cells. Choose your character, live your story. Your life is a story, and you are both the main character and the scriptwriter. If you don't define your identity, your past habits and the external world will define it for you. But today, you have the power to choose. Will I be the distracted follower of desire or the aware master of my mind? Transformation begins the moment you stop chasing change and start embodying the one who has already changed. The real brahmachari is not the one who controls lust, but the one who has become so anchored in purpose that lust becomes irrelevant. That person is already within you. Now it's time to live from that place, daily, deliberately, and powerfully. Chapter 12. Taming the inner fire, mastering lust, anger, and emotional surges. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Carl Jung. Let a man raise himself by his self. Let him not degrade himself. The self alone is the friend of the self, and the self alone is the enemy of the self. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verse 5. Lust, anger, restlessness. These forces are not merely emotional. They are energetic fires, capable of building empires or burning them to ashes. You already know the cost of mismanaged energy. A moment of lust can destroy years of inner strength. A minute of rage can ruin relationships. A single relapse can spiral into shame and emotional chaos. But these forces are not your enemies. They are raw power, meant to be tamed, directed, and elevated. This chapter is not about suppression. It's about sublimation, the art of transforming wild inner fire into focused inner fuel. The energetics of kama and krodha. In yogic psychology, the two great disruptors of clarity are kama, uncontrolled desire or lust, krodha, reactive anger or frustration. Both arise from the same root, egoic expectation not being fulfilled. Kama wants pleasure. Krodha erupts when that pleasure is blocked. The Bhagavad Gita describes this beautifully. From attachment springs desire. From desire arises anger. Anger leads to delusion, delusion to loss of memory, and loss of memory leads to destruction of intelligence. Gita 2.6263. These aren't metaphors. They are literal neuropsychological stages of breakdown. Let's decode them. Neuroscience of emotional hijack. Modern science confirms lust and anger activate the limbic brain, especially the amygdala, the center of fight-flight responses. This shuts down the prefrontal cortex, responsible for rational thinking and long-term planning. Result? You act from impulse, not intelligence. Each time you give in, the dopamine reward loop is reinforced. Over time, the brain becomes wired to seek short-term pleasure, regardless of consequences. Thus, every uncontrolled emotion becomes a neurological habit. But here's the good news. What was wired through repetition can be rewired through awareness and redirection. Hack ancient techniques to master inner fire. 1. Sakshi Bhava, witness consciousness. The first and most powerful step is learning to watch the emotion, not become it. I feel lust, not I am lustful. There is anger, not I am angry. This detachment begins the neurological unhooking process. Studies show that naming an emotion reduces its charge and activates the prefrontal cortex. Practice. When you feel an emotional surge, close your eyes. Say aloud or mentally, open quote, "This is just energy. I witness it without acting on it." Close quote. Breathe slowly for 90 seconds. Most emotional waves peak and dissolve in that window. Tab number 2. The fire redirection technique, brahmacharya transmutation. In yogic alchemy, sexual energy, ojas, and rage are not destroyed, but redirected upward towards creative action and spiritual vision. When you feel the pull of lust or anger, 1. Sit down in stillness. 2. Do Bhastrika pranayama, rapid breathing, for 30 seconds. 3. Immediately shift into visualization. See your energy moving from the base of the spine to the crown. Repeat this daily, not just during crisis, but as a morning discipline. Caution, avoid Bhastrika pranayama after eating. For optimal results, practice on an empty stomach or wait at least 2 hours after eating. 3. Shitali Shitkari pranayama, cooling the mind. These yogic breaths literally cool down internal heat, lowering blood pressure, emotional temperature, and cortisol. Shitali, cooling breath. Curl your tongue. Inhale through the tongue like a straw. Hold for 2 to 4 seconds. Exhale slowly through the nose. Repeat 10 rounds. Use this after emotional arguments or temptation triggers. Tanarsh 4. Thought diffusion, mental rewiring. From the Vedas to cognitive behavioral therapy, the method is the same. Catch the thought, question it, replace it. When lust says you need this to feel good, you reply, "That's not me. That's a ghost thought. I choose strength over stimulation." When anger says, "They disrespected you. Fight back," you reply, "My peace is more powerful than their words." Thoughts are not truths. They are mental visitors. You decide which ones to feed. Build your emotional fortress ritual. Morning practice. 2 mins, grounding breath, Shitkari. Focus on breath and maintain awareness. 3 mins, Sankalpa. I remain stable no matter what arises. This is a commitment to staying composed, responding, not reacting. 5 mins, visualization practice, Dopamine Discipline. Imagine facing temptation and rising above it. You prepare your brain for the real moment. You build willpower through mental rehearsal. Evening reflection, 5 mins. Where did I act with power? Where did I react emotionally? What can I do better tomorrow? This builds emotional muscle memory over time. From reaction to response, the yogi's way. To master brahmacharya is not to fight desire. It is to refine desire, to transform the inner fire into illumination. The same fire that burns the body can light a lamp. The same energy that drives lust can birth vision. The same heat that fuels anger can be channeled into bold action. You are not here to be a monk in a cave. You are here to be a monk in the modern world, calm in chaos, clear in distraction, powerful in temptation. Every time you conquer a surge of emotion, you reclaim a piece of your soul. You are not the flame. You are the light behind it. When you learn to observe emotion instead of obeying it, when you channel anger into purpose and lust into creation, when you breathe, pause, and choose, you move from being a reactor to becoming a conscious creator of your life. The inner fire will not disappear, but from now on, you will hold the matchstick. You will decide what burns. Chapter 13. Conscious relationships in a distracted world. When you love someone, the best thing you can offer is your presence. How can you love if you are not there? Thich Nhat Hanh. Wherever the mind goes, there it takes the self along, for no experience exists without the mind being present. Yoga Vasishta. In a world of infinite connection, we've never been more disconnected from ourselves, from each other, from depth. We swipe, scroll, and chat across screens, yet struggle to feel seen, heard, or truly known. In the age of instant replies, we've forgotten the power of attentive presence. This chapter is a call to return. Not to tradition, but to truthful relating. Relationships that heal rather than distract, elevate rather than drain, and bring you closer to your soul, not further from it. Why modern relationships feel empty. At the heart of every unhealthy relationship, whether romantic, platonic, or digital, is one core issue: emotional distraction. When your mind is split between your partner and your notifications, when you're physically present but mentally somewhere else, when you chase emotional highs instead of building emotional truth, you create a bond that looks connected, but is hollow. Most people today relate to their dopamine self, not their authentic self. They seek attention, validation, or pleasure, not genuine connection. This leads to superficial intimacy, constant comparison, insecurity and possessiveness, emotional exhaustion. Real love cannot exist where the mind is overstimulated and the presence is absent. Tash, the neuroscience of intimacy in a digital age. Oxytocin, the hormone of trust and bonding, is released during eye contact, touch, and authentic presence. But overstimulation from porn, sexting, dating apps, and hypersocial media use reduces oxytocin sensitivity, making people emotionally numb, detached from real feelings, unfulfilled by real interactions. Simultaneously, dopamine addiction rewires your brain to seek novelty, not depth. That's why many people today feel bored in meaningful relationships. They are addicted to newness, not connection. The result? You get used to replacing people instead of repairing relationships. Brahmacharya and emotional intimacy. Brahmacharya isn't just about celibacy. It's about the purity of energy in all relationships. It means loving without attachment, relating without craving, supporting without controlling, listening without interrupting, being present without needing validation. In Sanskrit, this is called Maun Samband, silent relationship. Not silence in words, but silence in ego. Such relationships are transformational. They reflect your inner growth, not your outer need. Chat, principles of conscious relationships. Let's explore the 5 timeless principles to build conscious, healing, and elevated relationships. 1. Presence over performance. Don't try to be impressive. Be present. When you give someone your undivided attention, without checking your phone, without rehearsing your next sentence, you create emotional safety. Practice. 1 digital-free conversation per day. Maintain soft eye contact. Listen without preparing to reply. Presence is the new intimacy. 2. Speak truth without trauma. Communication is not about saying everything. It's about saying what's needed with clarity and compassion. The yogic principle of satya, truth, ahimsa, nonviolence, teaches you to speak your truth without harming the other. Practice. Use I statements. I feel. I need. Avoid blame language. You always, you never. Pause before replying. Breathe first. Let your words be clear like fire, soft like water. 3. Boundaries are sacred, not selfish. A distracted person cannot hold boundaries. They say yes too much out of guilt or no out of avoidance. In conscious relating, you learn to protect your energy with love. Practice. Learn to say, I need time to process. Keep certain hours digital free. No messaging late at night. Don't carry unresolved emotions into other relationships. Boundaries are filters of energy, not walls of fear. 4. Reflect. Don't react. When someone triggers you, your mind wants to react, but reacting strengthens your emotional patterns. Reflecting transforms them. Practice the 3 R's. Recognize the emotion, resist reacting immediately, Reflect on what this teaches about you. The more aware you become in relationships, the freer you become from your emotional conditioning. Choose depth over drama. Conscious relationships are not perfect. They are purposeful. They're not about avoiding conflict, but growing through it. Don't chase temporary chemistry. Seek spiritual alignment, shared values, shared growth, shared silence. Ask, do they help me grow or stay stuck? Do I feel more myself with them or more confused? Can we sit in silence together without fear? Depth is rare. Protect it. Shash, your conscious connection toolkit practice, purpose, frequency, sacred listening. 10 mins. One person speaks, the other listens without interrupting. Daily, weekly. Digital free time together. Strengthens presence and emotional attunement. 1 hour a day. Relationship check-in. What are you feeling? What do you need? Weekly. Shared silence meditation. Creates nonverbal emotional bonding. 10 to 15 min/week. Mutual growth agreement. Commit to supporting each other's inner work. Long term. Shash, how brahmacharis build stronger bonds. When your energy is not leaking through lust, overthinking, or addiction, you show up in relationships with clarity instead of confusion, grounded love instead of needy attachment, patience instead of reactivity, purpose instead of insecurity. You become the kind of presence that heals others simply by being around them. This is the power of brahmacharya in relationships, not as distance, but as devotion to truth. Relationships as a mirror to the self. Every person you meet reveals something about you. The one who frustrates you shows where you lack peace. The one who loves you shows that you are still lovable. The one who leaves shows what you must now give yourself. In a world full of half connections and digital love, choose to show up differently. Be the rare one who listens, the strong one who doesn't run, the one who still sees, the conscious one who relates, not from desire, but from presence. That is a real connection. That is sacred relating. That is love. Reborn. Chapter 14. Using technology as a tool for sattva, inner light. Objects are tools. The mind is the master. When the master forgets himself, the tools become tyrants. Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj. Lead me from the unreal to the real. Lead me from darkness to light. Lead me from death to immortality. Is that Brihadaranyaka Upanishad? We live in the most technologically advanced age in human history, yet never before has humanity felt so emotionally restless, mentally fragmented, and spiritually hollow. Technology is not to blame. It is a mirror. It reflects the consciousness of its user. In the hands of the unconscious, it becomes a weapon of distraction. In the hands of the awakened, it becomes a vehicle for dharma, right action, service, and self-realization. This chapter is about choosing your digital dharma, not how to escape the digital world, but how to reclaim it as a sacred tool to serve your highest purpose. What is digital dharma? In Sanskrit, dharma means the soul's natural path, the action that aligns with your inner truth and serves the greater good. Digital dharma means using modern tools, not for consumption, but for contribution. Not to numb yourself, but to elevate others. Not to escape discomfort, but to spread wisdom. It's not about deleting every app or going offline forever. It's about consciously designing your digital life to reflect your inner light, what yogic tradition calls sattva, clarity, calmness, purity, and awareness. The 3 gunas of technology. Use ancient Vedic philosophy classifies all behavior into 3 energies or gunas. 1. Tamasic. Use, ignorance, dullness, endless scrolling, pornography, mindless binge watching, passive consumption. Hazard 2. Rajasic use, restlessness, ego-driven action, excessive self-promotion, arguments on social media, obsession with views, likes, and comparison. 3. Sattvic use, clarity, awareness, purpose, sharing wisdom, teaching, creating, uplifting, building mindful communities, using tech with strict boundaries. Your goal is not just detoxing, it's evolving your usage towards sattva, the conscious creator's code, a spiritual framework to use technology like a monk in the modern world. 1. Intention before action. Ask before every digital interaction, am I using this to avoid discomfort, to escape reality, or to create, learn, serve, or express with awareness? This 10-second pause can save you hours of unconscious behavior. Practice. Write your digital sankalpa intention. I use technology to expand light, not escape life. Hanash 2. Curate your digital diet. Just as food shapes your body, content shapes your mind. The average person consumes over 34 gigabytes of data per day, thousands of mental impressions. What you consume online becomes your subconscious thought patterns. Curation tips. Unfollow anything that triggers comparison, lust, rage, or ego. Follow accounts that teach, inspire, and ground you. Keep your feeds sattvic. Spirituality, science, philosophy, growth. You don't need to fast forever. You need to stop eating mental junk. Hammer 3. Design digital boundaries. Conscious use is not just about what you use. It's about when, how, and why. Try these boundary systems. 60-minute morning Brahma Muhurta rule. No phone for the first hour after waking. Batching. Use apps, email, social, messages only at fixed times. Device-free zones. No phone in bedroom, bathroom, or dining area. Weekly tech Sabbath. 1 full day of no non-essential screen use. These boundaries create a neurological reset space, essential for your nervous system and higher thinking. Hatter Hatter 4. Create, don't just consume. Consumption is survival. Creation is spiritual expansion. When you use your device to write, speak, teach, design, help, build, you activate the prefrontal cortex and flow state, associated with clarity, happiness, and divine insight. Ask daily, did I use my phone to build something or just distract myself? Golden rule, consume only what you're willing to create from. 5. Serve through screens. The highest use of technology is seva, service. If you've healed from addiction, share your story. If you've found inner peace, guide others. If you're walking a spiritual path, illuminate it for those behind you. Don't seek to impress, seek to elevate. Digital Dharma is not fame, it is frequency. The vibration you transmit through your words, presence, and work. Hash your Sattvic Tech Toolkit, practice, tool, purpose. Intention reminder. Phone lock screen quote. Keep you anchored in purpose. Screen timer. Digital well-being's app block. Prevent unconscious overuse. Sacred time block. Aeroplane mode. Do not disturb. Protect your peak productivity. Creation window. 90-minute creative block. Channel your inner voice. Reflection. Weekly journal. How did I use technology to grow? Accountability and course correction. The monk with a smartphone. There's a popular myth. To be spiritual, you must disconnect. But true spirituality is not about isolation. It's about bringing silence into the noise. It's about scrolling with awareness, typing with compassion, creating with purpose. Be the rare one who uses Instagram for inspiration, not insecurity. Opens YouTube for knowledge, not numbing. Speaks with power, not provocation. Posts not for validation, but contribution. The real sage in the modern age is not the one who escapes screens. It is the one who uses screens without losing their soul. Hanta. Reclaim the device. Return to the self. Technology will only grow more seductive. Algorithms will keep evolving. Stimulation will never end. But your inner stillness, your purpose, your dharma, these are timeless. Let your phone be your tool. Let your heart be your compass. Use the world's most powerful inventions not to lose yourself, but to become the clearest, calmest, most conscious version of you. That is your digital dharma. Conclusion from digital slave to digital master. The mind is everything. What you think, you become. But what you choose to focus on, that is what shapes your destiny. Inspired by the teachings of the Buddha. All the arts acquired by men are lost by lack of practice, but this art of wisdom grows steadily once it rises, just as an ornament worn round the neck is considered lost through forgetfulness. Yoga Vasishta. You were not born for addiction. You were not designed to live with a scattered mind, weakened energy, or overstimulated nerves. You were born for clarity, for purpose, for powerful stillness in motion. This book was never about technology versus spirituality, or dopamine versus discipline. It was about your awakening, your return to the driver's seat of your life. Today's world is engineered to steal your attention, hijack your emotions, and drain your energy. But your spiritual intelligence, your biological power, and your inner fire are greater than any algorithm. You now have the tools to reset. Your dopamine system through conscious fasting and breath, your mind through meditation, routine, and identity rewiring, your energy through brahmacharya, creative redirection, and emotional mastery, your environment through digital boundaries and sattvic design, your relationships through presence, truth, and mindful love, your tech life through dharmic intent and contribution. The journey from digital slavery to digital mastery doesn't begin when everything is perfect. It begins the moment you say, I will not waste one more day living on autopilot. I will not trade my purpose for a temporary pleasure. I choose focus over fragmentation. I choose the superhuman lifestyle, the cycle of transformation. You've now completed a powerful cycle. 1, awareness. You saw the trap, overstimulation, PMO, emotional addiction. 2, detox. You cleared the path through fasting, discipline, and breath. 3, rebuild. You rebuilt yourself with new habits, identity, and intention. 4, rise. You reclaimed your energy and aligned your digital world with your dharma. This is the reset your nervous system craves. But the real test begins now. Can you live this reset, not just read about it? Your daily mantra, I am the master now. Repeat this as often as needed. I am not my phone. I am not my impulses. I am not my past. I am not the distraction. I am the observer, the creator, the calm in the storm. I master my time, my breath, my energy, and my dharma. This is the mantra of the digital master, the conscious warrior, the one who uses every challenge as a tool for refinement, the one who uses every device with discipline, the one who returns again and again, not to comfort, but to clarity. This is not the end. It is your real beginning. Close this book. Breathe deeply, not as a consumer of content, but as the custodian of your consciousness. You know too much now to go back. You've felt what real power is, not stimulation, but stillness. So go out into the world with your feet on the ground, your phone in your pocket, and your purpose in your eyes. Live from that place and light the way for others. You're not just free from the digital prison. You are now the architect of your inner empire. Final thought. A note before you leave. Dear reader, if you've read this far, I want to thank you, not just for reading, but for choosing to confront yourself, which is the rarest kind of courage. This book is not an end, but a beginning, a call to deeper clarity, inner strength, and conscious living. Remember, discipline is not restriction, it's remembrance, a remembering of who you truly are when the noise fades, when the urges fall away, and when your mind becomes still. No one becomes a master in a day, but those who walk the path with sincerity begin to radiate a different kind of power, one that doesn't shout but transforms. I wrote this book as a companion for that journey. May it serve you well. With inner strength and brotherhood, Radheshyam, founder, Manthan Hub, author of The Superhuman Lifestyle.